warehouse at Pearson Airport in Toronto. And they think it's an inside job because they suspect the warehouse manager, who suddenly quit his job and fled to India and is still on the run, is the one who enabled it.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. I-24 eastbound at I-440. Metro Police reporting a crash. Rivergate, a crash, 65 southbound after Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right, kids, here we are. Here we go. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show, underway for another day and another week. Happy to have you with us this Monday, Jan 12, 2026. We've got 4 good hours, what I hope to be excellent hours of talk radio for you, for the masses, on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, as I mentioned, but I'm not alone in this endeavor. Young Ken Weaver joins us from News Closet B. He gathers headlines for a living, delivers them twice an hour, and whenever it breaks. And we appreciate him doing so. He also thrills us with his acumen on a variety of other subjects, such as today he's been talking about snow. And I feel like I need to tell you guys something.
What's that, brother?
Ken Weaver is not a fair and balanced reporter when it comes to snow. And look, he's a teammate, and we love him. But I value the truth. And I got to tell you, folks, Ken Weaver is not a fair arbiter of the truth when it comes to snowfall or cold weather, really.
But at least you know I don't like it.
Well, I mean, he's honest about it. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't like it. Jackson Williams, do you like the snow?
I love the snow. Is it going to snow, Ken?
Maybe.
When?
Well,
sometime.
Yeah, Wednesday night there's a chance for snow. But I remind everyone, snow can be one little flake.
That's not true. Nobody thinks that.
Did it
Nobody
snow in Nashville? Yeah, one flake.
Nobody really thinks that. If it starts flurrying and people see it coming down in the light of, whatever, the parking lot lights, you know what I'm talking about? The lights there and the snow's coming down. Look, the snow's coming down. We're standing on the veranda out here at the palatial compound of Cumulus Media Nashville. Veranda, that means the...
I know what veranda means. It's the word after.
Palatial?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like palace-like.
Oh.
Yeah. In other words, I'm lying. I'm making that up. But I remember we were out there and it was coming down in the light of the parking lot. You can see it coming down. If it never sticks to cars, nobody says, "Ooh, it snowed last night." So you know what everybody says, kid? They say it almost snowed last night.
It almost snowed. Yeah.
Well, it's almost going to snow. I don't believe it. I just don't believe that it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's only a 30% chance.
I do believe that they might see some accumulation on the plateau.
Well, there could be some accumulation on the plateau and maybe, some of those grassy surfaces.
Yeah, you got to watch those grassy areas.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Those grassy areas accumulate the snowfall a little bit before the concrete zone. And I've always been told, I was told this as a young child, that and I don't think, well, I don't know. I have no idea if it's true or not. But I was told this as a young child, that it snows less in big cities because of all of the asphalt and because of all of the cars. And probably because of all of the people farts. But I wasn't told that last part. I was just told the first two parts. But the general warmth of a big city prevents snowfall within the big city. I don't think any of this is true, but
yeah, I mean, look at Chicago and
New York.
Buffalo and yeah.
Yeah, that's some balsams. Don't worry about that. We say that. We say that all the time. That is a line from A Christmas Story, and that is my way. That's our way of just dismissing. So that's some balsams. It's when the old man's buying the Christmas tree,
right?
And the guy goes, look at that one. All the needles are falling. That's some balsams. You know, one of those. A big tree. So I don't know if this person, y'all tell me one way or the other. 0492 has started off the show, and I think they're trying to tilt your host because they want to know, what is a plateau? LOL. Where is the plateau for Tennessee? Well, one, it's a running joke on the Matt Murphy Show. You got to keep up. You got to listen at 3, listen until 7, and we got some running humor that goes on. Give us a week and we'll grow on you, kind of like a virus or a fungus.
Yeah, both.
Or both, a fungal virus. The plateau, everything, if it's weather-related, it has been noticed by yours truly that it always happens on the plateau.
Yeah.
Especially if it's cold weather-related.
Yeah, whenever I first got here, our friend over at Channel 4, Dan Thomas, he would mention the plateau in every forecast.
Oh, sure.
Over on the Cumberland Plateau. And I kept thinking, boy, that Cumberland Plateau is a busy place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of going on over there. These are first world problems. I've got technical issues. I allowed my computer to update to a new operating thing.
Yeah.
And now when it goes off, it's a laptop. So when your laptop goes to sleep, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then you just hit a button and it just boom, pops right up. Well, mine doesn't boom, pop right up anymore. I think it's a technical issue. I shouldn't have done it.
That sounds like a technical issue, Brother Murphy.
The Cumberland Plateau is the southern part of the Appalachian Plateau and the Appalachian Mountains of the United States of America. It includes much of eastern Kentucky and Tennessee and portions of northern Alabama and northwest Georgia. The terms Allegheny Plateau and Cumberland Plateau both refer to the dissected plateau lands. Ooh, I didn't know we were dealing with dissection. Lying west of the main Appalachian Mountains. The terms stem from historical usage rather than geological difference, so there's no strict dividing line between the two. Two major rivers share the names of the plateaus, with the Allegheny River rising in the Allegheny Plateau and the Cumberland River rising in the, wait for it now, Cumberland.
The Cumberland Plateau.
And so the Cumberland Plateau is a deeply dissected plateau with topographical relief commonly of about 400 feet and frequent sandstone outcroppings. Hey, Jackson, I bet you're wondering what a dissected plateau is, aren't you?
Sure. I was actually wondering who the Titans are going to hire. You got that for me?
I just want 4 hours a day. That's all I
Also-
want. You got 20 other hours to do whatever you want to in your life. I just want 4 hours a day. That's all I'm asking for.
The quarterback that committed to LSU, Tennessee's giving him a final take it or leave it offer,
But he committed to LSU.
but he could flip.
Yeah, but who would you rather play for? I mean, be honest. Come on.
The Vols.
Lane Kiffin or that fellow over there in Knoxville? Come on.
Hype train.
The hype train?
Yep.
That's pretty good. Are they using that over there?
Oh, yeah, they've been using that for years.
Okay. I was about to say you should send that
It's
to
not
him.
original.
Okay, you should send that to him, boy. Joe says the Cumberland River, too dirty to drink, too thick to drown.
I bet you there's big old fish in it.
Crocodiles.
There's probably some of those, too.
Woodpeckers.
There's no
It's
woodpeckers.
floating,
Catfish eat them.
belly up. Matt, I love that you use the term "that's them balsams." My wife and I use it all the time. That's just our, that's just our way of saying that. Don't worry, just forget that. That's just nothing. Well, what about that's them balsams? So we got a lot to do today. At 3:35 this afternoon, brand new Congressman Matt Van Epps will be joining the show as a congressman for the first time. Obviously, he was elected last year in a special election for District Number 7, vacated by Mark Green. We will talk with him at 3:35 about him. Has he gotten moved into the office yet? Does he have any boxes that he can let me borrow? Because I'm moving down to Mount Pleasant, and I need as many book boxes as I possibly can get. I'll ask him that question at 3:35 this afternoon. At 4:35, Congressman John Rose will join us. Both will obviously speak to protest over the weekends that descended into, a certain amount of riotous behavior, lawless behavior. And that's where I want to start the show, obviously. There's a lot that we want to get into, not just the Minneapolis situation. But I want to ask you a serious question, one that I thought about over the weekend. I hesitate, and I could do it, and I don't begrudge those that do. And I've listened all day. And I listened to Dan this morning from early on in the morning. I was on the road at 6:15 this morning. And I was listening to our man Dan Mandis as he was breaking down some of the left and their commentary on what has happened over the last week and a half, 2 weeks regarding immigration and customs enforcement and the leftist mindset in responding to said same. And I was listening to Chris Hand, and Chris had incredible audio and incredible commentary on the same matter. And I was not able to listen to Chad as I was in the midst of doing a couple of things, including prepping the show. And I've got the clips as well. I mean, you cannot escape them if you are online. Leftist after leftist after leftist, liberal after liberal after liberal, not just crazy people with a TikTok account. These are established individuals, coaches in the NBA, political figures from all across the United States of America, major business leaders. And none of them seem to care about or understand the concept of a representative republic, A, and the rule of law, B, which obviously go hand in hand. And I'm being sincere. This is not a rhetorical question. I need to know what we're going to do about this. Not what we are going to say about it. It is certainly one thing to highlight it. And once again, I've got the clips and I've listened to the clips. And these people are absolutely, I was listening to some of the clips that Dan was playing this morning. These people are absolutely bonkers. It's not that they have their own opinion about something. If you present them with facts that go against the narrative that they have decided is true in their mind, they will willfully, willingly, and angrily ignore the facts and fault you for bringing it up and tell you, no, I am not going to listen to that. I am going to believe what I want to believe. At one time in our society, this was reserved for what we would term as crazy people or conspiracy nuts, right? I'm not talking about the standard theories. I'm talking about the nuts. You know, the tinfoil hat, they're putting radio waves in my fillings type of people. They live among us. And this situation has highlighted that they want to be angry about this so much. They don't care what the facts are. They want to be in the streets. They want to do things that would engage in a way that would devolve into a riot, to the point that it doesn't matter if I'm willing to sit down with them and talk with them. I've long said I will talk to any liberal that's willing to talk to me on the radio. I will talk to anyone, really, that's willing to talk to me on the radio, so long as it is of interest to this listening audience, because I serve you, and you, one and only, the listening audience of the radio show. And yes, that includes, I serve you. That's it. And there are times I'm sure I piss you off. I mean, I'm not saying that we are not one big dysfunctional family. I'm saying that I serve the listening audience. So I'm willing to talk with anyone that has anything that might be of interest. At the same time, I'm willing to sit down. I'm comfortable and confident in my beliefs. I'm willing to sit down and walk through all of this with anybody. But these are not rational people. They are not willing to listen to rational conversation with someone that might disagree with them. They run away from it. They stick their fingers in their ears and la, 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 la. They don't want to hear it. And it's not 1 or 2 or 3 or 8 or 10 or 12 or 14 or 114 or 10,000. It's a major percentage of the United States of America. And whether we like it or not, they vote. They vote. What happens when they vote crazies into the White House? I'm being as serious as I can be. What happens when they reach a position of majority? And sadly, they're raising children to think like themselves. Now, let's dive a little deeper into more specifics. On this issue as to what happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, one of the core basic tenets of their narrative that they've created in their minds, that an ICE officer, for no reason whatsoever, beyond that he just wanted to, decided to shoot 3 times in the face an innocent woman that had taken her 6-year-old child to daycare and was just trying to go home. That's the basic structure of the narrative. This lady was just trying to go home, and she might have expressed her dismay and her disgust about what was going on with immigration and customs, but she didn't do anything wrong. And even then, she has the right, Matt Murphy, to protest. No, she doesn't. Not in the streets. Not interfering with law enforcement officers. There are so many ways to break this down with rational people, where you understand that even if you disagree with Donald Trump, even if you disagree with the manner in which he's enforcing immigration policy that was passed by Congress and signed by previous presidents and codified into law, even if you disagree with all of those things, do you not have a basic agreement? Do we not have a basic understanding of how this country works and how you change those things and how you protest if you so desire? And that there are certain things you may do and certain things in a civilized society that we do not allow. We do not allow you interfering with law enforcement officers that are sworn to uphold the laws as passed. We do not allow you to block the streets of traffic, the thoroughfares of commerce. We do not allow you to violate the laws in these ways. Whether you are mad about it or not, your emotions have zero to do with it. And they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear facts, and they don't want to hear contrary positions on this matter. They don't want to hear anything that moves them off the idea that they're right, you're wrong, and we should just sit down and shut up. So, what do we do about it? Do we ignore them? This is a sincere question. Do we pretend? Because there's a lot of factors to unpack as to why this is going on. And the primary one is that we have social media platforms on the internet today that elevate people to the point that they think if they say something radical enough, if they push the agenda far enough, if they say something crazy enough, it's going to get them maximum clicks, clout, and attention. And that feeds their fragile egos. Did y'all hear about I guess it was, where was it? See, my computer keeps going off and it won't come back on when I hit the return button, and it's frustrating me, and it really, really makes me want to throw it through that plate glass window, but I'm not going to do that. And it's all because I downloaded the upgrade. There was a volunteer radio show host that called for the assassination of J.D. Vance and doesn't understand why they're being called out on that. The poisoning of the diseased mind in this country is getting worse and worse, and I'm wondering what do we do to claw this back? You can't ignore them. You can't arrest them all. We've got to claw them back mentally, and I honestly do not know how to do that. Do you? Or is this just over? The alternative is that eventually we will become a socialist country. And I am sad to tell you that more so than ever in my life, I think that is a fate certain for the United States of America. That eventually there will be enough of these people that love AOC, that love Jasmine Crockett, that love them some Granddaddy Bernie Sanders, that love them some Mom Donnie, that we will have a Congress full of them, and we will have a White House with one in it, and we will be and they will complete what Barack Obama said so many years ago that he wanted to accomplish, and that is that they will truly transform the United States of America, unless y'all have any better ideas. I'm not coming at you. I'm not trying to come at you full of despair today, but I see it. I see it as clear as an unmuddied lake. It's 26 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for USS, which stands for United Structural Systems. When USS comes to your home, you get problem solvers. These are folks that understand their business. They understand concrete leveling on your driveway, concrete leveling on your walkways, concrete leveling in any place where you've got cracks or it's gotten to the point where there's a crack there that one side is higher than the other. They can level that, and they don't have to tear out all the concrete to do it. They have the Polylift system, which is pretty cool. Ask them about that when you call. They also give you peace of mind when it comes to your foundation, waterproofing issues, or foundation repair issues. They get it done at USS. Homeowners simply trust USS and have since 1994. They've been doing it the right way since then. With thousands upon thousands of satisfied residential customers, you can bet that they have thousands upon thousands of testimonials as to why you should select USS. I know you don't want to call. I know that you don't want to think about it, but you need to call early, especially if you've noticed some of the telltale signs. 615-488-7855, 488-7855 for USS, online at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. Serving Middle Tennessee, keeping homes stable and dry since 1994.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Metro Police investigating a deadly shooting on I-65 at I-40 last night. It's claimed the life of Fisk University basketball player Andre Bell. The 20-year-old sophomore was driving back to campus last night when shots were fired from a dark sedan that witnesses say had pulled up beside Bell's car. Bell's car spun into traffic, collided with a pickup before he was rushed to Vanderbilt in critical condition. He has since passed. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. A woman accused in the fatal shooting of a delivery driver in Nashville is now in custody. Police say 21-year-old Atirius Hogan fired several shots from her car after leaving a nightclub on Murfreesboro Pike. She had actually been kicked out of that club. One of those bullets hit 33-year-old David Valentine Jr. as he was driving by. Hogan faces homicide and reckless endangerment charges and is due in court tomorrow. A major parking operator has agreed to a $9 million settlement with Tennessee's Attorney General. Metropolis Technologies was accused of misleading drivers and charging for short or non-existent stays. The agreement provides cash refunds and free parking credits for consumers. It also requires clearer signage and a 15-minute grace period at all lots. And Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says he's under criminal investigation by the Justice Department. The probe centers on his testimony to Congress about a $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed's headquarters. Powell calls the investigation unprecedented and politically motivated. Here's Karen Travers.
The White House said Monday that President Trump did not direct the Justice Department to open an investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked if she could reassure Americans that the president's longstanding criticism of Powell had nothing to do with the investigation. She said,
"The president has every right to criticize the Fed chair. He has a First Amendment right, just like all of you do. And one thing for sure, the president's made it quite clear, is Jerome Powell is bad at his job."
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine got a crash 24 eastbound at I-440. Rivergate, police say there's a crash 65 southbound after Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Looking here at westbound 40, it is complete stop and go between the eastern split and the downtown split. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, folks. Matt Murphy here for The Glock Store. When your company, your business is named Glock Store, well, you know you're going to see all of the Glocks in stock and the latest advancements in the technology that Glock has to offer. Well, this Glock Store news is pretty darn cool. If you've not heard, they've got the latest Gen 6 in. The ones with the new optics, the RTF6 texturing, enlarged beaver tail, the flat face trigger, trigger guard undercut, the integrated thumb rest. I mean, it's all there, folks. It is being called the most refined stock Glock ever produced, and they have them at the Glock Store. Well, I say they have them, you see, because folks are so loyal to the Glock Store, they have pre-ordered their G17s. They've pre-ordered their 19s and their 45s, and now they're literally gone before they got there. But never you fear, new shipments are coming in, and as a thank you for your pre-order, if you mention my name when you go to the Glock Store, you can test drive one, by the way. You can hold on it, you can look at it, you can check it out, you can shoot it in their shooting room if you so desire. Then you put it on pre-order, and when you do and you mention my name, Matt Murphy, you'll get a free magazine, an extra magazine when you pick up your new Gen 6 Glock at the Glock Store. That's what we're talking about. They'll throw in that extra magazine, and you are ready to go. You'll want to go see this thing at the one and only Glock Store. Limited time offer and only from the Glock Store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Tell them that I sent you for that extra magazine to the Glock Store. All right, I asked a very serious question, and I've gotten some serious response. We're going to get into that response after we have a conversation with our next guest. So, David, hang in there. Jimmy, you too. Oh, that's Mr. Jimmy in Shelbyville. James is calling in. Sean as well. A lot of response on the super text line, 615-737-9986. And the question is simple. With as many on the political left, now, maybe you feel like I'm misreading it, I'm mischaracterizing it, but I see more and more radicalization on the part of the political left to the point that they do not seem to believe in the basic rule of law any longer, where the premise of their defense for Renee Good is to suggest that everything she was doing was perfectly legal and perfectly fine. Disrupting law enforcement agents. It was the law enforcement that were in the wrong, the agents that were in the wrong, not Renee Good. And that is just destroying basic facts in a way that frightens the hell out of me for the future of this country. We'll get to your comments in just a moment. Right now, it is our pleasure to welcome the congressman from the 7th Congressional District. He is Matt Van Epps. And it is I believe it's our first opportunity since right after election night. Since you've been inaugurated, I think this is the first time for me to say, good afternoon, Congressman. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Honored to be on with you. Thank you so much for having me on. Doing great, and just so fired up and motivated. So thankful to the voters, to your listeners who have given me this opportunity to serve and fight for Tennessee 7. And just excited and excited to be back talking with you too.
Well, are you? So I guess the natural question for me to ask first, before we get into some of the other particulars, are you getting your sea legs underneath you? How are things going as you make your way through D.C.?
Absolutely. Well, most folks coming in on the normal election cycle have a 3-week transition meetings and have the opportunity to really to spend time to learn the processes and systems. And we had about 48 hours. And so that's the way that I like to operate from the special operations background. But we're doing great. We're getting all of the teams set up. I think should be fully staffed by February. We just have a couple of other folks that are waiting to start. We were doing some interviews last week. Our field teams are up and running, and we're about to reopen those offices. We had to go through a process to re-sign the leases. But we're starting to get the systems and processes in place. I've been assigned my 2 committees, and so I was assigned to Homeland Security and Science, Space, and Technology. And I'm really excited to serve on both. Both have, I think, great purview, great opportunity for the district and for the country. And so I'm honored. I didn't have a choice in either of those. They were, as the brand new guy, number 435.
Right.
Didn't have a choice, but they're both great. I think leverage my background, and excited to be on those. But yes, we're starting to get into our operational rhythm, and excited to be getting there now. I know how to get from the office to the House floor to vote. So I think that's
good. You've explored the tunnel? Then that's good. Right.
Been in the tunnels, can navigate those decently well right now.
Hey, it's my experience, Matt, because I've been there and I've seen this. If you have the little congressional pin, you don't have to go through the security screen. You can just walk right around. That's
right. That's right. And one of the other freshman members told me, they're like, you just one of these days when you get time, they're like, you normally don't get a lot of time, but you just need to just walk in a direction and just kind of make your way around. And that's the best way to figure it out. Just kind of wander around. And as you know, there's just tunnels everywhere, and everything's connected. So
I mean, you mentioned, but I want to go back on something you said before I ask you about the Homeland Security assignment, field offices for those that would call in or whatever. You're getting those back up and running and staffed, and they should be in place. I mean, I know that there are some that utilize those offices, make calls to their congressmen, ask questions regarding, constituent services and that sort of thing. So you feel like those will be up and running in the next several weeks?
Yes, our staff is currently working. I should have clarified that, and thank you for bringing it up. But the actual physical office locations, we're having to go through just a process to sign the leases. But they both the offices themselves should be reopened by the end of the week. But our teams are there working. They're responding to constituent issues, doing case management. So we've got everybody working there, and so the physical offices, both in Clarksville and Franklin, will be we reopened by the end of this week, and we're excited about that because you're right. There are a lot of folks that come in, and we need that. Please reach out to us if you need anything, you need any support. Our team stands ready. And matter of fact, that is right now. That's the number one priority, is to have world-class constituent services to listen and respond to help our folks get what they need. So please reach out to us. We stand ready to assist.
You mentioned Homeland Security. I mean, obviously, Immigration and Customs Enforcement is doing a great job, in my opinion, across the United States of America, balancing the rights of the American citizens versus the need to collect those who have done it the wrong way, who have come into this country illegally, and send them back to their countries of origin, particularly those who are lawbreakers in our country. We saw what happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I just want to give you an opportunity to speak to that and give us your thoughts on what happened there and what it means more broadly for the efforts to clean up our immigration issues.
Absolutely. Well, and Matt, you and I have talked about this before, but, I stand firmly with law enforcement, with our first responders, our military. ICE has a critical job to do, as does all of our federal law enforcement, and they're executing that mission in very difficult circumstances, and they need to continue to execute and to do that. And as you were talking just at the intro, and I think a lot of folks are calling in from your earlier segment that I wasn't able to listen to, but on the rule of law, Matt, I was raised to respect law enforcement from a very young age. That those are folks that are out risking their lives to defend our communities and our country, and that's where we have to get back to respect law enforcement. And listen, if you cross our border illegally, that is illegal. It's a criminal offense. And, I think the current statistics are 70% or so of the folks that have been detained have current or pending charges in our country. But there's a whole host of people that are detained, and we're starting to learn that they're criminals in their country of origin. And so there's all kinds of issues with that we've got to continue to work to get right. And, let me just talk for a minute on getting it right. I think Memphis is getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
The federal government has deployed ICE and a bunch of federal resources to include prosecutors to Memphis in cooperation with Tennessee. And I think that is critically important, is that the governor has led on this, and we have task forces of federal, state, and local law enforcement leaders who are in place, and crime is going down. We're seeing really positive impacts in Memphis from that collaborative effort, which can be really a signal to the rest of the country and ways to execute that get that mission done.
Congressman Matt Van Epps of the 7th Congressional District with us this afternoon discussing immigration, customs enforcement, homeland security, obviously, amongst other things. I brought up in my opening monologue, Congressman, the numbers of people on the political left, and not just random people on TikTok and on social media platforms, but elected officials. I mean, members of the House of Representatives. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez comes to mind. Obviously, there are others that are suggesting that our ICE agents are the bad guys, and that that they are doing something somehow unlawful or extracurricular to the law. And it's difficult for me to even talk to these folks. What do you say about these narratives that have been created in the aftermath of what was obviously a tragedy? No one wants this woman to die. I'm sorry that she engaged in actions that ultimately led to the officer fearing for his life and having to use deadly force. But what do you say to these folks that just don't see the narrative as the facts show it?
Yeah, well, and I agree with you. I mean, any loss of life is tragic and sad, and we don't want that. And it is, it is a false narrative. Our ICE, our FBI, these are professionals who are out there working in conjunction with state and local officials who put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. And this is the mission that they're on is a legal mission, they're executing something that's really important. I mean, we are a country that are defined by laws, and when you cross that border illegally, in the campaign process, Matt, I talked to a bunch of people who came here legally, and they were very upset about folks that were literally cutting in line and jumping ahead to come here illegally, and what that does to people who have waited and have gone through the right process to come to our country legally and have said, we want to support the Constitution and we love this country, and so it's a false and a wrong narrative, and it's one that's threatening, and we've got to move away from that and support these professionals who are out executing this very critical mission for us.
Congressman, shifting subjects to budgets, I mean, obviously you've got to hit the ground running on this one because at the end of the month, if we do not see movement on our appropriations packages, then we're going to see a shutdown. Have you had conversations in Congress about this possibility, and what can you tell us about avoiding it?
Yes. Well, thank you for bringing that up. And, this is critically important. It's something that we ran on. It's something that's very important. And the good thing is that now we are starting to get back towards regular order. We have 4 of 9 appropriations bills have been passed that are conservative approaches. In those, overall spending is lower than Biden-era appropriation bills. We've got one that's going to be, I believe, will be on the House floor this week, that's on national security and related programs, that has a 16% reduction, that appropriation bill. And they also codify much of the work that the president has done. And so I'm really encouraged by that, by getting back towards regular order where we have authorizing bills, we have a budget, and then we have the appropriations bills. And when we do that, we can get out of this continuing resolution cycle that we're in, which is really important so that we can drive conservative approaches, conservative appropriations. And we're doing that work right now. So I'm a lot of work left to do, but I'm excited. I'm grateful for the speaker and the leadership team for driving this. And so we're moving in a good direction there.
Finally, we saw the vote in the House of Representatives, on extending Obamacare subsidy. And I'm just curious. I think I know what your position is on that, but I would love for you to explain it to the listening audience and to the 7th Congressional District more particularly. And what can we? It feels like we're moving in the wrong direction by extending it for another 3 years. I know it hasn't happened as of yet. There's plenty of slip between the cup and the lip, as my grandma used to say. But what can you tell us about where we are with that?
Yes. So I voted against extending the Obamacare subsidies. And I agree with you. I think, there's a lot of work left to be done there. Things, there's just a lot of work to be done there. But the bottom line is those subsidies, there's like 7% of people that those cover. The Republican Party is focused on the 93+%. And even though 7%, not everybody uses that. So we're talking about a very narrow group of folks who would be covered by the subsidies. The bigger, more important issue is driving down healthcare costs. And that's what we're focused on. There was a bill that we were able to get done before the Christmas break that it was a healthcare bill, I think a very smart, common sense one that had PBM reform and transparency that funded the cost sharing reductions that actually drives down overall costs, had association health expansion for small businesses to join together. It was a start to move in the right direction. And I think that's what we have to do. We've got to continue to build on that. The Obamacare subsidies is not the way to move on that. And I think just for context, in the very short period of time that we've been here so far, but we looked at it earlier today. I voted 64 times. Not all of those are votes on bills, some procedural things, but probably about 30 bills or so. And, pivoting just slightly here, was honored to vote to support the Kayla Hamilton Act that increased youth vetting for people coming to our country. Mm-hmm. Was honored to vote for no federal money to transgender surgery for minors. Things that we talked about in the campaign, we've been able to address already in this first short month. Energy, home. There's a bill last week that we were able to do on manufactured homes and ensuring we drive down energy costs. So a whole lot of work we've got left to do there, but we're seeing impacts already. And one of those that is really important is this healthcare piece. And I'm glad that you brought that up, and appreciate being able to talk about that for a minute.
Well, Congressman, we appreciate your time, your availability. We look forward to many of these conversations as you are available moving down the road. And we appreciate your presence in Washington, D.C. Enjoy your time. Not too much. Get back to the 7th as soon as you can, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for all that you do.
Take care.
Really great work.
Absolutely. There's Congressman Matt Van Epps, our first conversation with Matt Van Epps as our sitting congressman in the 7th Congressional District. We'll be back with your telephone calls as promised in a moment. It's 53 after the hour. You're listening to The Matt Murphy Show. Gentlemen, you've got but one life. It's too short for not nows, maybe laters, or tomorrows. If you've noticed that you have issues with your intimacy, performance, if you will, your relationship, your confidence, and even your career can be affected by all of this. Online folks promise convenience. They promise discretion, but their treatments are generic and some are even unsafe, and oftentimes they simply do not work. No more excuses. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is the state's first men's health-focused urology practice. Multiple urologists and providers focused solely on your issues, particularly men's health, men's sexual health. And they do it the right way, with no snake oil, no peptides, without solid research. Since 2014, they've pioneered men's health in Tennessee, and they've been testing and growing to make sure that they get you the best and most safe, effective treatment available today. They're number one in Middle Tennessee. They have been for over a decade, and they are for a reason. Call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 208-9090, or go online to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you. TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, with now almost 4 locations, 3 already, Clarksville, Cool Springs, Midtown, and Murfreesboro to come. It's the Tennessee Men's Clinic.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Got some breaking news. Minnesota and the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul are suing the federal government to try to stop the Department of Homeland Security from carrying out ICE enforcement in their state and cities. A Fisk University student athlete was killed in a shooting on I-65 near the I-40 interchange last night. Police say 20-year-old Andre Bell was hit by gunfire while driving his white Nissan Sentra back to campus. The suspect's vehicle, described as a dark sedan, fled the scene and may have windshield damage. Crime Stoppers offering a reward for tips. You can contact them online, or you can text, or you can call 615-742-7463. The suspect in a deadly shooting that killed a DoorDash driver in Nashville has been arrested. Metro Police say 21-year-old Atiris Hogan fired multiple rounds from her car after she was kicked out of a nightclub on January 4th. Well, one of those bullets hit 33-year-old David Valentine Jr. while he was on his route. He later died at the hospital. Hogan is being held on a $520,000 bond and will appear in court tomorrow. More than 24 states are seeing very high levels of flu-like illness so far. That includes Tennessee. Health experts say we haven't even hit the peak of cold and flu season yet. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton says these new flu numbers being driven by a new variant, subclade K, but stresses it's not more severe than other flu variants.
The silver lining here is it's not proving more effective in causing more severe disease on the individual basis. We can see more and more people coming into the emergency room, but the overall outcomes of the flu experiences, for the most, will probably be similar if you've had the flu last year. But there are more people with the first-time experience with the flu than they've had in quite some time.
Yeah, according to numbers from the CDC, there have been 15 million flu illnesses, 7,400 deaths so far. Some doctors say it's not too late to get a flu shot. A parking company agrees to settle allegations it overcharged people in Nashville. Metropolis Technologies will pay $9 million after a state investigation into parking complaints. Drivers reported being billed incorrectly or without entering the lot at all. The settlement includes millions for refunds and free parking credits in major cities. New rules will require better signage and improved license plate technology. And in our nation's capital, President Trump suggests that Iran is willing to negotiate with the U.S., but that another military operation could happen due to the crackdown on anti-regime protesters there. Here's Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
Diplomacy is always the first option for the president. He's told all of you last night that what you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite differently from the messages the administration is receiving privately. And I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages.
Nearly 550 people have died in Iranian protests so far. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Woodbine got a crash 24 eastbound at I-440, then 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. In Murfreesboro, we've got TDOT cameras reporting a crash on the right shoulder, 24 eastbound just past New Salem Highway. That's exit 80. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Radio Show. We continue. Hour number 2 starts right now. It is 4:06. As we speak, Keith Ellison, the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, is ranting and raving about the Trump administration, suggesting that Donald Trump and the Trump administration, are they actually taking questions? You know, jip some of this. Would you join it in progress? Can you? Do you have the ability? You're not on the same channel as I am, are you?
What channel?
I should have warned you. I'm on hashtag Never CNN. Go to 13 hashtag Never CNN, where you'll see that jerk, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, who's discussing their decision to sue the Trump administration over what clearly the federal government has the authority to do with regard to immigration operations. Just pull that up for just a second.
Now, having said that, you asked the what if question. Well, you know, there are ample ways to make a miscreant violator of a court order obey that court order. One of them is a contempt of court, but let's not jump there. Let's expect good conduct and obedience to law, and that's what we expect. That's what we expect we're going to get. And I think there's a possibility that Mayor Frey wanted to talk a little bit more about what your citizens are going through, or maybe you covered that already.
I can add on.
Yeah, but I just think yeah. Well, you want to go for it?
Just in general.
Yeah, just like what people are dealing with, man.
Yeah. I mean,
oh yeah, man.
We don't use the word invasion lightly. What we are seeing is thousands, plural, thousands of federal agents coming into our city. And yeah, they're having a tremendous impact on day-to-day life. And it's a negative one.
Right.
And whether that's kids that are trying to get to school or businesses that are trying to open, that's police officers that are responding to 911 calls. It's just about being able to conduct daily life right here
All
in
right,
our
get
city.
rid of him. Get rid of him. I'm sick of him already. So Mayor Glenn Frey, Mayor Jacob Frey, Glenn Frey, much better career than Jacob Frey. Glenn Frey was the one of the lead singers of the Eagles before passing away. Jacob Frey says that he called it an invasion. So you'll refer to citizens of the United States of America going to their jobs, putting on the uniform, and doing the task per the law passed by the representatives of the constituents of the United States of America through the House of Representatives with regard to immigration and customs enforcement. You call that an invasion, but you don't call the between 4 to 8 million individuals that came in the Biden administration alone illegally an invasion. You don't call what's happening in the state of Minnesota with regard to fraud, primarily within the Somalian community. You don't call that an invasion of our resources? Give me a freaking break. All right, in the meantime, asked and answered, I monologued earlier today about what to do with regard to people that don't seem to make a lot of sense in terms of rule of law. And I've gotten a lot of you hanging on there. And Sean will be first up on the radio show. Sean, thank you for your call. How are you?
Hi, Matt. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to remind everyone to please support ICE, especially, I got to admit, I'm a bit selfish. my younger brother became an ICE agent about a year ago. He's not in Minneapolis, but, I don't want to, think about him taking, crap from these far left lunatics. I mean, getting a job with ICE is really, really tough. Do you remember the dementia test that President Trump took where you have to go man, woman, car? Do you remember that one?
I do not. I don't know what you're referring to, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, yeah. Trump has been acing dementia tests because he's so smart. If you can ace a dementia test, as he often reminds us, you got to be really smart. So that's what they've been giving the ICE agents. They have to read off 5 words and memorize them. Really, really difficult. And my brother left a really good job as a mall cop to take this position with ICE. So people better not give them a hard time.
Is
no
that
comment,
it?
Matt?
Is that it? Is that the best you have? That's all you've got?
I could keep.
Honestly, that's the best you can come up with. I mean, it's a sad day when a smarmy seminar caller can only come up with that. That's bad, man. That's no good. You got to do better. You got to try harder.
Do you think it's good that they've totally dropped standards of who they'll hire?
So here's try number 2. So he calls in with that and then lays an F-bomb. I mean, look, I mean it when I tell you, you don't have to put on airs. You don't have to pretend that you're someone that you're not. Just call the show and present your argument, present your position as it exists, and we will discuss it. We're, for the most part, all Americans here. But Mr. Seminar Caller calls in, and all you've got is, dementia tests, and it's easy to become an ICE agent? Do you think it's easy to be an ICE agent? These are the people that we see at the grocery store. These are men and women that you see at the ball game, and they're being treated like Nazis by leftist liberals. The same leftist liberals that want to protect pedophiles and other lawbreakers who broke into the United States of America illegally, who came here against the basic rules of how you get into the United States. Many of them then broke laws subsequent to the law breaking that they engaged in by getting into the United States of America, and they get a free pass. They get a free pass. But we've decided to vilify those that are attempting to enforce the law as passed by our elected representatives. And the best you've got is that? Come on, man. You got to do better than that. Are you even trying anymore? Mr. Jimmy's in Shelbyville. Good to hear from you, Mr. Jimmy. How are you?
Hello, Matt. How you doing?
I'm fabulous, sir. I hope you are.
I'm getting older by the minute.
Well, that makes 2 of us, Mr. Jimmy.
You know that I was from Memphis, and for a long time I was Democrat. But since Clinton, I've changed over after Clinton to a Democrat, I guess, to a Republican. The first time I voted was for Eisenhower. That's been a long time. You know, when I went to the Capitol and took the tour of the White House, the president's wife, Jacqueline Kennedy, gave the tour.
Wait, hold on a second, Mr. Jimmy. Did you say the first time you went to the White House, Jackie Kennedy gave the tour?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I knew Bobby Kennedy's daddy, Bobby Kennedy Jr. I met him at the Democratic Convention there at Buffalo, New York in 1960, 61, 62, something like that.
Uh-huh. That probably would have been 1960, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When his brother John was running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, hey, Mr. Jimmy, I don't know if you've heard me say this on the radio, but I'm about to be a lot closer to you come next week when we finally get this move happening.
Where are you moving to?
Mount Pleasant.
Oh, we're going to move up toward Mount Juliet area.
Oh, are you? You about to move?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if I'd have known that, I never would have left.
And let's see. We go to church at the Sanctuary, which is a biker's bar. The Barren Cross music bunch plays there, sings there. I hadn't seen you there at the Sanctuary on Sunday.
Well, I need to get over there.
It's in Mount Juliet.
I need to get over there.
Yeah, you need to go over there and hear the Barren Cross bunch. They got a lot of good music there, and that's a big biker bar too.
Well, Mr. Jimmy, you take care, and that's a great story about the Democrat convention and RFK, I guess, Senior.
I think you're right on all you're thinking. As far as over the years that I look back, and I've known many politicians and heard a lot of them talk, and I'm beginning to think that even Trump's bunch is lying, cheating, and stealing.
Well, there's a lot of that going on, friend. A lot of that line. Listen, Mr. Jimmy, I'm not trying to tell tales out of school, but I think all that lying, cheating, and stealing even predates you.
All politicians do that. Yeah, right. Probably.
Well, take good care, Mr. Jimmy. We appreciate your telephone call as always, and it's good to hear from you. And I'm glad to hear that you're in good spirits. 9455 says, no, Matt, he said it was hard to get the job. Listen, dude, I was listening. No offense to you. He was being sarcastic when he said it was hard to get the job, because he went on to say that in order to get a nice job, you had to pass a cognitive test that involved identifying a car and a man and a woman. He then went on to say that you had to memorize 5 words. And then he was obviously being smarmy. We also recognize this fellow's voice. He is a past seminar caller. We call them seminar callers on this show, meaning that they misrepresent who they are and what they want to talk about for the purpose of trying to stymie the host. And I love that kind of thing. So I'm not about to be stymied. No, he was certainly not in favor of immigration and customs enforcement. He was trying to be a smart guy. 18 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. TB wants to know the name of that church and biker bar. What did he say, the Sanctuary?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
There's a church and a biker bar?
That's what he said.
That's something I can get behind.
I tell you what, I'll pull on up there in the Harley and see what's going on. Mr. Jimmy knows he's an old Harley rider from way back. So.
You got a sidecar for me?
I could probably find something for you. That would be something else.
I think that would be really funny.
Pulling up with Jay Willie in the side rack. I like that. I like that idea. I like everything about it. Mike is in Old Hickory. Man, we are scraping the bottom of the barrel with callers today. Oh, not you, though. Have I offended Mike? Mike.
No, I'm here.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Yeah. Now, when you said that, you know what? You're scraping the bottom of the barrel, which means you don't have any respect for your listeners. So what I'm going to ask you something really quick, because you're so smart. and you can put down anybody, including me. Where is the big dig?
Well, what do you mean? It's coming.
Where is it? What's the
What
status?
do you want it
I looked on
today?
AI,
I don't know.
I looked on AI, and I looked on Google. I said, where is Matt Murphy's, the big dig from the Capitol to the airport that's going to transport thousands of people a day efficiently between the airport and downtown? I can't find it anywhere except that, there's experimentation going on. There's diggings going on. There's lawsuits going on. Elon Musk is saying that this could be a good thing, but we're running into trouble. That's all I'm finding, Matt. So you're the smart guy.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be about halfway. We're supposed to be about halfway.
No, we're not.
To the airport, and the airport halfway.
No, we're not. No, that's not true. What are you talking about? That's not true. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion. You're not entitled to your own facts, there, Mike. There was nothing that
you come up with facts,
Mike,
and then you say it's facts, and everybody else
Mike, I just supported Mike. I just supported Mike. Hold on a second. Let's talk, Mike. Hold on, Mike. Calm down. Good gracious.
Where's the big dig?
Have you ever been married?
Where's the big dig?
Have you ever been married?
How far has the big dig gotten from downtown Nashville to the airport?
Are you saying dig? I hope you're saying dig. If you're not
the
saying dig, then I'm going to get called.
That's going to go from downtown to the airport. What status is it? Has it even been started yet?
It's never going to happen, Mike.
Then why did you push it for a year?
It's never going to happen.
Then why did you push it for a year?
A year? This hasn't been. It hasn't been a year, man. Am I in a time warp? It's been 3 months.
You're an idiot.
It's been Mike.
Everybody with a brain cell over 2 knows that can never be done. And you know what, Matt?
Hey, Mike.
It is not going to be done. Mike, it's never been started.
Mike, act like a human. Act like a human being. Mike, try to act like a human being. Let's talk. You don't have to scream. Just talk to me. Talk to me. I'm trying to be nice to you. Hey, Mike. Answer me this question. Just this serious question. Let's say you're right. I'm going to agree. Mike. Good Lord, Mike. Mike, be a human. Mike, be a human. I answered. It's never going to happen. I answered the question.
It's never going to happen.
I answered your question. I answered your. So now, Mike, answer me. Answer me this question, Mike. Calm down. Calm down. Mike, I don't know what kind of drugs you are on, but you need to calm down. Calm down.
You're wrong, Matt.
Mike, I'm just going to have to hang up on you. I'm just going to have to hang up on you if you won't simmer down. Okay? And just answer a question. Mike, I try to engage my telephone callers more than any other host.
No, you don't, because unless they
Mike,
agree with
you have to shut up for a moment and let me speak.
You just admitted that the big dig is
I was being sarcastic. You don't hear. You don't listen. I was being sarcastic, Mike. Listen to me.
You can't admit it, Matt. It was wrong.
Mike,
just say I was wrong.
Mike, one question. One question. All right.
Come on,
are you
Matt.
ready? If you're right,
Matt.
listen, Mike, listen.
You're wrong.
All right, screw you, buddy. I mean, you're out. I mean, I'm done. I tried. The question was going to be, Mike. I mean, and Mike, Mike, just never take his calls again. Just never take his calls again. Just don't. I'm done with him. If he can't shut his mouth and act like a human being with a brain, then I'm done with him. I mean, I tried. I've tried for a year. I've tried to engage him for a year. I've tried to be nice to him for a year. And he's just a jackass. And there can only be one jackass on this radio show, and my name's on the door. So, no, not you. Everybody loves you, Jay Willie. Not as much as Ken Weaver. No, so Mike wants to know, I've been talking about the big dig for over a year, which...
The big what?
The big dig. That's what he called it. The big dig was actually in Boston. This is the tunnel, the Magic City Loop, or the B&A hole, as Chris Hand calls it. So
Music City Loop.
Music City Loop, not Magic
City is a...
that's Birmingham.
No, that's a club in Atlanta.
No. That's Magic City's Birmingham. I've lived there for 20 years. Is Magic City a club in Atlanta?
It is a like supremely famous club in Atlanta.
Like, what kind of club?
Gentlemen's.
That's not. I know Atlanta.
Matt, I'm going to tell you a story.
I know gentlemen's clubs in Atlanta, pal.
I'm going to tell you a story.
There's the Cheetah. There's Girls. There was the Gold Club for years. They shut that down. Good God. Are we on air?
Matt, I'm going to tell you a story. During COVID, they put all the NBA players in the bubble in Disney World. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
One guy broke protocol, flew to Atlanta to Magic City. Because then that's how it's gotten very famous on the internet.
Oh, well, that's not what I was referring to. I was referring to Magic City. For some reason, I said Magic City instead of Music City. But this is the question I was going to ask Mike, but he couldn't shut up. And Mike,
the phone's ringing, and it's definitely him.
Is it? Well, answer the call and just tell him that it's his fault. I'm done with him. I'm done with him. He is on suspension for the rest of January. Let's put it that way. We'll try him in February.
We'll try him.
I don't know what to do with it. I want to ask a question. He asks a question. I answer it. He doesn't like the way I answered it, and then off he goes. My question is this. I think Ken Weaver can answer this question. Ken? No, Ken. This is a good one. You'll like this.
Okay.
If Mike's right, how much money are we, the tax-paying citizens, out?
$0.
$0. My entire premise behind supporting this concept is, one, it fascinates me, this idea that we can do this. Number two, if it fails. Now, outside of those that are suggesting, and I've got a couple of listeners that have suggested that any amount of digging underneath the earth is going to cause the water table to shift and the water table is going to flood homes or whatever. But if none of this ever happens, if none of it ever goes, if not one single Tesla moves from the airport to downtown Nashville, we are out $0. Zero. Now, some suggest that there's an ecological risk. I don't agree. 27 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WT.
Fort. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast. Another traffic update in 5 minutes. President Trump making headlines with a threat over Iran's crackdown on anti-regime protesters there. The president ordering a trade embargo on Iran. He says a 25% tariff on any country that violates it. Meanwhile, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison just made an announcement.
We're here to announce a lawsuit we're filing against the United States Department of Homeland Security to end the unlawful, unprecedented surge of the federal law enforcement agents into Minnesota.
Yeah, they're going to tie Minneapolis and St. Paul to that lawsuit.
We allege that the obvious targeting of Minnesota for our diversity, for our democracy, and our differences of opinion with the federal government is a violation of the Constitution and of federal law.
All of that over the shooting death of Renee Good by an ICE agent last week. Meanwhile, Arizona Democratic U.S. Senator Mark Kelly suing the defense secretary, saying Pete Hegseth is violating his constitutional rights by attempting to penalize him for urging troops to ignore illegal orders. And Fisk University here in Nashville is mourning the loss of basketball player Andre Bell. The 20-year-old shot and killed last night on I-65 in what authorities think is road rage. Investigators say Bell and two friends were returning from a gymnastics event when gunfire erupted from a passing car. Bell was taken to Vanderbilt in extremely critical condition, but has since passed away. Police are asking anyone with dash cam footage or information to contact Crime Stoppers. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Midtown, we got a crash now, 14th Avenue North at Church Street. If you're on the interstates, just know that the brake tapping is well underway. If you are northbound 65 up to the South Loop and then northbound North Loop up to the Northern Split, particularly heavy going eastbound on 40 over to the Eastern Split, then that continues eastbound from 440 if you're on 24. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. It is officially cold and flu season. Very cold outside. And my grandma used to say, open the window in influenza. I don't know that that's technically correct, but I know that what she meant was when it's cold outside, you are more susceptible to cold and flu. And if you are or have it, you need treatment today, not tomorrow, not next week like so many of these places offer, but today. Grace Point Healthcare is your primary care physician that can offer you that treatment today or next day service, even for brand new patients. At Grace Point, there's no long wait times in the waiting room. They don't believe in it. They don't believe in making you wait a week or two. When you're sick and you need to see your doctor. They're your primary provider that treats the entire family from newborns to seniors. And ask them about the Smart Care Plan. You can pay this out of your HSA. It's $99 a month for adults, $79 a month for the youngsters, and it covers your office visits throughout the course of the year, plus basic labs and diagnostics. Now, they are a direct pay format at Grace Point Healthcare. This means that never will they allow an insurance company to get in the way between you and proper treatment decisions with you and your doctor. That relationship should and is sacrosanct at Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. In Franklin, call 599-6868, 599-6868. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We will we'll give the phone calls another go here in the next few minutes on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I think we need to let them cool off for just a second. What after our seminar caller, and then, we did hear from Mr. Jimmy. It's always good to hear from Mr. Jimmy. Glad that he is in good spirits. And then poor old Mike. Mike has officially been suspended until the end of the month. Mike, you'll have another go at it in February. Maybe you can manage to have a reasonable conversation by then. We always have a great conversation with this next guest. He is Congressman John Rose. He is also running for governor of the state of Tennessee, and he joins us on the Murphy Show hotline to talk about a variety of issues, to include immigration and customs enforcement. Congressman Rose, good afternoon and Happy New Year.
Good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for having me on the show this afternoon. Happy New Year. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, and I hope and trust that you were blessed through the holidays.
You know what? I never know when the cutoff is. When I talk to somebody that I haven't spoken with since last year, I always like to say Happy New Year, but then I look down at the calendar. I'm like, man, it's the middle of the month already. So one way or the other, I know you've been busy, not just in Tennessee, but also in Washington, D.C. And I guess we start with the obvious, John. I mean, clearly liberals have lost their minds. They don't seem to believe in the rule of law anymore. They don't seem to believe in allowing law enforcement to enforce duly passed legislation passed by Congress, signed by past presidents regarding how immigration and customs enforcement is to handle individuals who are here in this country illegally. No one wants to see anyone die, but I'm sad to say that indirectly responsible for this, in my opinion, John, would be some of the lawmakers that are suggesting that ICE represents the Gestapo and all of this type of nasty language that they've been using. Just give me an overview of where you are on this and how in the world we can extract ourselves from this madness.
Well, I think you said it best. I think liberals have lost their minds, and I think it's just really reprehensible that we see these elected officials on the, mainly on the left, of course, almost exclusively on the left, that are, advocating for pushing back against the enforcement of laws. I suspect this is true for most listeners. My mom and dad taught me when a law enforcement officer asks for you to do something, you cooperate. And, for goodness sakes, maybe there might be something that, inappropriate, but you can sort that out later. The last thing you want to do is be, standing in the way of those folks who are tasked with the very difficult job of enforcing our laws and getting in their way. And so when you hear people like Representative Afton Bain advocating for bullying ICE vehicles, that's what leads to this problem that we saw in Minneapolis. And it's really, it's indefensible, and ultimately it costs lives, and no one wants to see someone lose their life, let alone a mother of young children. But the answer to that is when a police officer tells you to yield, you yield, and you do what they tell you, because they're charged with enforcing the laws, and they're acting under the color of the law, and they should be given the support of the population in doing their job.
Well, Congressman, where do you think we go from here? Sadly, blue states seem to be digging in on it. Just today, the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, along with the Minneapolis mayor, amongst others, announced they were filing suit against the federal government. I mean, I don't feel like this is going anywhere, but they continue to engage in this level of lawfare, attempting to quag up the courts with ridiculous and frivolous lawsuits, particularly when it pertains to enforcing immigration. I had it on good authority. I mean, we were told ad nauseum during the Biden administration that states had nothing to say about immigration policy because that was a federal matter. And now they seem to have changed their tune a little bit on that point.
Yeah, right. I mean, the level of hypocrisy here is really, telling. And I think, obviously it's not the first time we've seen them change their tune when they don't like the outcomes that they're getting and they don't match their ideological perspective that they have. So, I hope that at some point that cooler heads prevail. But unfortunately, I think we're going to see a lot more of outcomes where people are being encouraged and protesters are, being encouraged to step into the fray and get in the way of law enforcement that are just doing their jobs. And it's hard enough for these law enforcement officers to do these jobs when they're facing lawbreakers and disruptive people to begin with. But then when you have these folks who are in many cases are paid protesters that are coming out and being trained and encouraged to obstruct and get in the way, it's no wonder that we see accidents like this happen or unintended consequences like this. And we're going to see more of that if we continue down this path.
Yeah, it feels like you and I, we talk about this every time we have a chance to catch up on the telephone, Congressman Rose, and that is budgets. The month is almost half done, and we've yet to see a conclusion to some of the process that we kind of kicked down the road past the Christmas holiday. What can you tell us about a status report, if any, on getting this complete and avoiding, and I don't think the Democrats necessarily want a government shutdown. I mean, it ended poorly for them, and it was just 30-plus days, almost 40 days of doing nothing. What do you expect will come from the next several weeks?
Well, so we, just this past week, as you may have reported on and may have covered, the House passed what we call a minibus, what people call a minibus. It was a combined three of the appropriations bills, and it actually ultimately, when it was voted on the floor, when the actual bills were voted on, they got a substantial number of Democratic votes. So I think that portends of good things. So the House has done that. Obviously, the Senate has got to do their work. We've got 6 more of the standard appropriations bills that we have to deal with. We're going to take up another tranche of them this week. It appears to be positive. So we are slowly learning how to walk again in terms of following what's called regular order of taking these bills up. Obviously, we're doing this late because it should have been done before the end of the fiscal year, back before the September 30th, the end of the fiscal year. But I think it does point in a positive direction. The House also passed, the extension of the premium tax credits. The Democrats had brought that up, forced a vote on the House floor. Some Republicans from swing states joined them. But that's not going to go anywhere, at least not in the form it did in the House. It's not going to go forward in the Senate. The question really here, I think, is what is the Senate going to do? Are they going to get their work done? We've sent over 400 bills to them since the beginning of this Congress that have just languished on their side. We've, been ahead of them at every step along the way in terms of the appropriations process. And so I think the House is going to get its job done. Maybe as soon as this week we will finish, but certainly this week and next week we will finish that work well ahead of the end of the month when we would be approaching another shutdown. So I'm optimistic about this. Let me tell you, because I know your listeners will be frustrated. I mean, these bills are not perfect, but they are Republican priorities as opposed to the Biden era priorities. If we don't pass our own appropriations bills, frankly, we're still operating under the Biden era appropriations, and nobody wants that. We need to fix that. And so, I think Republicans are in lockstep to get that done at this point. And frankly, I think Democrats even recognize based on their votes this past week that we're moving the ball in the right direction, achieving some savings, obviously beyond what we got in the One Big Beautiful Bill, but not where we need to get ultimately. You're going to see that come after this. Hopefully we're going to do reconciliation again later this year, this spring yet, I hope. And it probably won't be as momentous as the One Big Beautiful Bill, but I think it'll be very positive in moving things in the right direction. So I'm optimistic at the moment.
You referenced the Obamacare subsidy, and really it was the COVID era, subsidy that the premium subsidies that you mentioned, that 17, I believe it was, of your Republican colleagues in the House of Representatives voted in favor of. And you correctly note that these were largely Republicans in purple or more swing states. What's the message to the American people regarding these subsidies? I mean, is it that this was for COVID era and COVID level emergency funding? And I mean, we seem to be going in the wrong direction on the healthcare front, John.
Well, we are. I mean, the system, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, or as I like to call it, the Unaffordable Care Act, is fundamentally broken. And I mean, that's absolutely clear to everyone, including the Democrats It did not deliver on the promises that Obama made about you got to keep your doctor, you get to keep your plan, and premiums are going to go down. All of that was false. We knew it was false. Republicans at the time said it was not true. Everyone knew. We let I say that Obama and his cronies, they let the insurance industry write Obamacare. And so it should come as no surprise to everyone that insurance company revenues from the time Obamacare was enacted until now have gone from $200 and some billion a year to almost $1.5 trillion a year. So Obamacare is a system that is too expensive for Americans. It's too expensive for American taxpayers. So it's fundamentally broken, and feeding it more, subsidizing it more is not the answer. I think, we have these swing state Republicans and Democrats, every Democrat that believe that, you just keep feeding this broken system, but that's not going to get us to reform. So Republicans in the House, we passed some first step reforms back in December. Again, we're languishing on the Senate side. Ultimately, what you and I both know, Matt, is the only way we fix healthcare is when we return it to where patients and their doctors are making decisions, and we get the insurance companies out of the way. And so the last thing we need to do is give billions more to these insurance companies. Most of that money never makes its way to helping patients that actually have health issues that need help. And the American people just need to understand that we are seeing these billions of dollars, most of which is going into the hands of the insurance companies and not to actually make their lives better or provide them with the health care they need.
Congressman John Rose joining us for a few more moments. John, shifting attention to international issues, it occurs to me that you and I have not had an opportunity to speak since the entire Venezuela situation came to a head and we secured Maduro and got him back into the United States of America and held him under the indictment that was presented years ago. And now we're on to that. Feels like old news, John. It's only a week and a half old, but it feels like old news in as much as now the president is talking about Greenland. For those that don't think that I ever disagree with the president of the United States, I don't know that I agree with the concept of putting boots on the ground in Greenland as a way of securing that that territory. Where are you? I mean, I understand the concept. I understand why Greenland is a geopolitical asset. What can you say about how we should move forward with that?
Well, first of all, I would say about Venezuela, I think we saw another example of just how effective the president can be. Obviously he has brought Nicolas Maduro to the United States, where he's going to face the justice system here for the crimes that he's committed against our country. And we all know the literally hundreds of thousands of Americans that have died at the hands of narco terrorists like Maduro. He enabled the importation of all these illicit drugs. And, so he's going to be brought to justice, I believe, and get his day in court. I think the president in doing that sent a very strong signal to all of these, totalitarian despots around the world. And particularly, I think, sent a strong message to all those on the world stage that the United States is going to reassert itself in the Western Hemisphere. Some people call this the Trump doctrine, a reinvigoration of the Monroe Doctrine that we're saying to the rest of the world, hey, look, stay out of the affairs of the Western Hemisphere. But I think it's a broader message. I think it's a message of, if you're going to take on the United States, you better be sure that you're confident you're in the right and that because we can reach out and touch you. And we saw the president illustrate this with how he dealt with the nuclear problem in Iran that has plagued us literally for 3 decades. So then we turn our sights on Greenland, and I think the president is correctly identified the geopolitical importance of Greenland, particularly in a world where the former Soviet Union in the form of Russia is trying to reassert itself, and where the Chinese are, of course, involved in all of these shenanigans around the world to try to get a toehold and cause problems for the United States. And so I think we see President Trump doing what he does best, which is to keep people a little off balance. You probably saw some of the memes that came out around the time of the Venezuelan arrest of Maduro, where I saw one that was particularly poignant, where President Trump was dressed as a magician, and he said, "For my next trick, I'm going to get the Democrats to defend Maduro." and I think that's, I think there is an elegance to what the president does here. So I think he has, he's playing a game of chess with the rest of the world. And I think we've seen Denmark, kind of neglect Greenland. And Greenland has geopolitical importance. And so I think we have to let this play out. And I'm willing to give the president a wide berth. I think like most people, I don't foresee troops on the ground in Greenland. I don't think we're going to, take Greenland by force. But I think the president has spawned a discussion and debate there, just like he did with our NATO allies. People poo-pooed what he said during his first term about getting our NATO allies to spend the percentage of their GDP necessary to defend themselves, and no one wanted to do that. And then they saw once Russia invaded Ukraine, once Biden kind of fumbled the ball there, I think they all woke up and realized that what Trump had been telling them was accurate. And I think Trump is a step ahead when it comes to Greenland. I think he's telling the rest of the world this place matters. We need to be paying attention, and I think you'll see him move the ball there in a way that ultimately leads the world to a better place and leads the Western world to a better place in terms of standing up to despots like Vladimir Putin and Xi and these other tin-horn dictators around the world.
Speaking in the minute that we have left with Congressman John Rose, speaking of paying attention, I know that you're focused on your duties as congressman. But you're also running for governor. Are you paying attention to the fact that we got a regular session coming up in the state of Tennessee? Anything on your radar screen with regard to what you talk about with the voters of the state of Tennessee as you canvass the state?
Well, very much so. And I was just downtown earlier today and picked up my petition from the Administrator of Elections office and saw a couple of legislators while we were doing that. And, we're very focused on finishing the work that I started, but I'm also can walk and chew gum at the same time. And so very much focused on the future of Tennessee, making sure that, we get our message out. And my message is we need a governor who has experience, the right experience to be the CEO of our state, provide the leadership that we need from a governor. I have that experience. My opponents lack that experience. And so we're going to communicate that message. As we watch the General Assembly, I know the budget is going to be tight and they've got a lot of tough choices to make. And we just, would commend to the legislature, and I know they are professionals and they understand these issues, got to be careful with how we spend our money. We need to be sure that we're minding the store. We're not immune to fraud, waste, and abuse in Tennessee. And so when you have supermajorities and you've been in power for a while, sometimes maybe you get a little bit lackadaisical in terms of watching those things, both in being careful about safeguarding the taxpayers' money, but also in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of taxpayers and the people of Tennessee. And so I know the legislature, they're the professionals, it's their job. I'm campaigning, so I do have to comment on what I think and what I think are important things. We want to be frugal in Tennessee. We want to continue our proud heritage of being careful with how we spend the taxpayers' money. And so I know the legislature will have that top of mind. I hope they will, and I am sure that they will. Many of them will. And so I commend them for their work and wish them well as they undertake a new legislative session.
Congressman, always a pleasure talking with you. I know we'll have many great opportunities to speak during this election year and considering all the activity that's going on in Washington, D.C. We look forward to the next conversation. Take good care, sir.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks
all
for
right.
having me on. It's a great honor and privilege to serve the people of Tennessee.
Take care. There's John Rose. Back in a moment, 57 after the hour. So how's that New Year's resolution about losing weight going for you? A little tougher than you thought it might be? For many of us, we reach a certain age, and it's a lot harder losing those pounds than perhaps it used to be. Our friends at Contours LLC have an incredible opportunity for you, and that is get rid of that stubborn fat, whether it's on your belly or in your love handles, your man boobs, your neck, wherever it might be. Contours LLC is the place to go. I heard Dan talking about it, heard Chad talking about it, could not believe it, but then I experienced it for myself, folks. I went in and had the red light technology, which is just the perfect solution. It is non-invasive, it is painless, it is effective, and for $99, they will offer you a belly buster treatment just to show you exactly how this goes down, and you will absolutely love it, and I predict you'll buy a package of treatments as a result. Call 615-236-9960 and do like I've done. Go to Contours LLC, ContoursLLC.com for more info, ContoursLLC.com. Friends, we like to ask you, what do you have to lose but inches?
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. President Trump announcing a sweeping trade embargo on Iran in response to its deadly crackdown on protesters. Any country doing business with Iran will now face a 25% tariff on all trade with the U.S. Officials in Minnesota taking ICE to court, claiming the Immigration Enforcement Agency has committed a slew of constitutional and legal violations. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison.
It's no secret. Donald Trump and his administration have been targeting people, cities, and states that don't agree with them politically.
ABC News national correspondent Steve Portnoy with some details here.
Minnesota's lawsuit alleges ICE is violating state sovereignty under the 10th Amendment, using excessive force on protesters, making warrantless arrests, and retaliating against Minnesota's elected Democrats. The suit seeks a federal judge's order to end ICE's recent Twin Cities surge. In response, a DHS spokeswoman says state and local sanctuary policies are the exact reason ICE surged to Minnesota in the first place. She adds, "We have the Constitution on our side on this, and we look forward to proving that in court."
Well, Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly is suing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, claiming Hegseth is violating his constitutional rights by attempting to penalize him for urging troops to ignore illegal orders. Hegseth claims Mark Kelly took part in a, quote, reckless and seditious video urging troops to ignore those orders. He's indicated he'll move to reduce the senator's rank as a retired Navy captain and cut his pension. And here in Nashville, a promising college athlete is dead after a shooting on I-65. Metro Police say 20-year-old Andre Bell, a Fisk University basketball player, was hit by gunfire while driving near I-40 last night. His car crashed after the shooting, and the suspect's dark sedan kept going. Tips can be reported anonymously to Crime Stoppers. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Berry Hill got a crash on the right shoulder, 440 eastbound right before 65. Over by the airport, a crash, Briley Parkway southbound right there at I-40. If you are eastbound 24, you are coming to complete stops there just past 440. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's hour number 3 of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're just past halftime, 8 minutes past 5 o'clock. Thank you to Congressman John Rose. Thank you to Congressman Matt Van Epps. Man, oh, man, we get one or two more in here, we'll have a quorum. We can start taking votes. We'd love to hear from you, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. It's episode 955 of our gatherings together. It's also day 357 of Donald Trump's second term as president of the United States of America. That's out of 1,460.5 days, which means we've got a lot of time to go. You can find us on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart. Those are your apps those are 3 apps. You can find us on just about any application that you want that plays music or news or information. We also have our own. Download us at Supertalk 99.7 WTN and take us wherever you want to go. You can find us on the good old radio, 99.7 FM, or Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. There is a chat that goes on the YouTube side that is bawdy, to say the least, and today is no exception. Go over there, give us the old thumbs up, and enjoy that. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. There was a case, and I don't know that it's making a lot of it's making the rounds in terms of the news cycle. I don't know that it's generating a lot of conversation, but it has a few similarities to the situation in Minneapolis, only in that it is an officer-involved shooting, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is apparently looking into it. A fatal officer-involved shooting that happened just a couple of days ago, January 9th. That would be last Friday, at Natchez Trace State Park, involving a park ranger, is under inquiry by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Just wanted to give you some of the details. I don't know what to think of it, except as it is being reported, apparently this is just another example of individuals not recognizing that we as a society, whether it is your local community, the state of Tennessee, or the United States of America, we authorize individuals that carry a heavy burden of responsibility on their shoulders upon that authorization, that when they don a uniform and they wear a badge, that they have the responsibility to keep the peace and to serve the public. And that is a heavy burden. And sadly, sometimes people have no regard for the authority that comes with that burden, and they do things like I'm about to describe to you. A park ranger was forced to shoot and kill Bradley Condor, K-O-N-D-O-R, Condor, 26 years of age, after Condor reportedly attempted to drive a stolen vehicle toward law enforcement. This is a very similar, and would I suggest to you, I will suggest to you that you might be seeing more of these types of cases in the coming days and weeks, because sadly, we as a society can't come together and collectively agree that it is impermissible to use your vehicle as a weapon against anyone, and that if you do so against law enforcement, that you ought to expect that you might get shot and killed. According to this story, and I'm reading from the Tennessean, Condor reportedly tried to drive that stolen vehicle toward law enforcement. TBI is saying that while they're not naming the ranger, that is a part of their procedure, they are looking into the case. Natchez Trace State Park is not far from Jackson, Tennessee, which is, it's I think, specifically Wildersville. I don't think it's Wildersville. I would guess it's Wildersville. I don't know, though. The incident happened at around 6:20 in the evening when firefighters and rangers found Condor on the site of a vehicle fire. According to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Condor reportedly stole the ranger's vehicle and drove off. So they came upon this guy. There was a vehicle on fire. He ran to their car, got in their car, and left. Condor exited that vehicle, but apparently then stole a second state vehicle, which is what he was driving toward the law enforcement officer when the ranger had to shoot him. District Attorney Jody Pickens, who represents Tennessee's 26th Judicial District, has asked the TBI to independently investigate the officer-involved shooting. The agency often steps in to deal with officer-involved shootings. That is, standard operating procedure. And that's really the only details that we have of the story. And I wish I could tell you more. I don't know why in the world we would have so many vehicles just ripe for the picking at a state park, but apparently that was the case. But Bradley Condor is dead, killed by a park ranger this past Friday, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is investigating. I cannot say this enough. A vehicle is a deadly weapon. And if you use it against anyone, you should expect that you might have deadly force coming back your way, especially when it comes to our law enforcement. I told the story last week. My first year in talk radio, I was 26 years of age. It was 2000. There was a case in Montgomery, Alabama, in which a woman, she was a pregnant mother, or a pregnant woman, soon-to-be mother. She was never a mother because she was shot and killed. Stole a vehicle in Montgomery and drove the vehicle into a cul-de-sac. And officers arrived at the scene and kind of pinned her into the cul-de-sac, and she was still behind the wheel of the vehicle, and they were ordering her out of the vehicle, demanding that she get out of the vehicle, demanding that she turn the vehicle off. She refused to do all of that. And one of the officers had positioned himself somewhat in front of the vehicle, and another officer, or several other officers, were approaching from the side of the vehicle, not knowing if she had another weapon within the vehicle. Obviously, the vehicle itself is a weapon. The car itself is a weapon. And not having any idea whether she had a gun or whatnot, they were very cautiously attempting to approach the vehicle so as to diffuse the situation. Sadly, this woman made the decision to gun the car toward the police officer, and the police officer opened fire. There was a huge outcry. Young black pregnant female killed by the Montgomery Police Department. And I remember several state legislators held this rally. There was State Senator Charles Steele, who was also a part of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. There was Representative Alvin Holmes, a part of this rally, and they called at the state capitol using public resources. They called on all individuals that have been a part of police brutality in Montgomery to come forward and tell their stories. Well, I didn't think that was very fair, and I didn't think it was very fair use of resources. And so I called on all of my listeners in Montgomery, Alabama, to show up to this meeting wearing a blue ribbon in support of the police and to tell their stories about how police officers were a benefit to their community. And when I stood up to speak, I got shut down by Senator Charles Steele and Representative Alvin Holmes, and very soon thereafter, the entire meeting got shut down because you can't limit the citizens, the tax-paying citizens, that are able to speak in an open and public forum. Excuse me, sir, I remember him asking me this. Excuse me, sir, are you here to tell your story of police brutality? And I said, no, I'm here to talk about the police that I know, the police that serve and protect the general public of Montgomery, Alabama, sir. Who are you again? And Steele was wearing a blue ribbon because they had heard about it. And I said, I'm the reason that you're wearing that ribbon. And they told me I couldn't speak. And so we got the meeting shut down. Anyway, sadly, lawmakers for the last quarter century have defaulted to believing the lawbreakers and not understanding. So I suppose in that sense, this is not new. Not understanding that an automobile is and can be a deadly weapon. And if you put an officer in danger, they have to make that split-second decision. Unfortunately, lawmakers that prey on the stupidity of the general public would suggest to you that it's the law enforcement officer that is at fault. No, sir. No, ma'am. Not the way that this works. So we will anxiously await further details about the story out of Natchez Trace State Park. In the meantime, Sam is on the line. Hello, Sam. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Hey, I got a question for you. Why is it that the Democrats, when they don't like something, they run stuff through the courts, like quick, right? I mean, that lady, she got shot a few days ago or a week ago, and they're already putting stuff through the courts. What do Republicans work that fast, or am I missing something? Or is it just a completely different situation here?
No, I mean, the Democrats are more litigious. Democrats have done a better job of packing the court system, particularly the federal court system, but they've packed the court system with left-of-center judges, activist judges, we refer to them, who believe that, the Constitution is a living, breathing document, and they have a very liberal and loose interpretation of some of the language within the various statutes. So I think liberals think that they have a better avenue within the court system. No, I mean, I don't know that we win necessarily hearts and minds by being like them, but I mean, this is, ultimately what's happening in the court system. I mean, you see on occasion conservatives attempting to utilize the courts to satisfy cases, but for the most part, what I've seen in the recent, decade or so, would be conservative victories within courts where Democrats brought cases. Particularly, I'm thinking about Donald Trump and so many of his court case victories. But no, I mean, you're right. I mean, I think your instincts are correct that the political left is more prone to rush to the courts for remedy of a situation that they don't care for than conservatives are.
Yeah, but I mean, would it pay off to go to the court more? Even if you don't hit as many, if you hit a few more because you're sending more, would that not pay off in the end?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about kind of fighting fire with fire. I would need to think about, and I can't think of one right now, but I would need to think about particular cases where I know that there have been, Sam. I know that there have been situations where I've wondered why our conservative friends would not file within the courts when I feel like they had opportunity to. But here's the bottom line. I mean, this thing in Minneapolis, Minnesota, they're going to lose.
Yeah, but I mean, they drum up fire. They get people worked up. Maybe, make a case for themselves for in the future that, they're doing stuff, they're fighting.
Well, maybe I can put it to the people where they're. I mean, this is a pretty good question. Have there been times where you had wished that we would fight more within a court of law where the GOP did not do so? I mean, I know that there's been a frustration and an anxiety that more individuals within the political system have not been brought under criminal charges, not a complaint along these lines, but I mean, Hillary Clinton, for example, Hunter Biden, for example, before he was pardoned.
Yeah, perfect examples. Why are we sitting back? Why are we not throwing them into court and just making them defend themselves?
Well, I'll tell you what I want to do. I'm gonna try to see if we can't get an answer to your question from the audience. Why do we think that is? Because I think you're right. I don't think you're wrong in your observation that conservatives / Republicans are more loath to utilize the court system in the way that liberals do. And I wonder if anyone has a good answer for that.
Yeah. Oh, let me ask you one more question.
Sure.
Remember when that poor girl got stabbed on the bus by that career criminal?
Yeah, in North Carolina.
Now, yep. Weren't they going to do something to the judges, like hold them accountable? Whatever happened to that?
You know what I'll do? I'll look that up and I'll see if I can't get an answer to that too. Let me look that up during the break, Sam, and I'll try to find out where that is because that's a good question too. Yeah, we sadly that situation was reaching somewhat of a boiling point when Charlie Kirk was killed. And obviously a lot of focus and attention went on to the Charlie Kirk assassination and left the situation out of Charlotte, North Carolina. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. I'm going to smash my laptop computer with a hammer, and we'll be back in just a moment on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk with you about Alpha and Omega. They are real good people when it comes to your computer systems. If you are a decision maker at a business, might I recommend that you contact Michael and his team at Alpha and Omega? Michael offers 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week protection from evolving threat, compliance for all industry, business continuity, a fast local help desk. Friends, you need Alpha and Omega on your team. Everything you do within your business has some computer element to it. And if you're not a computer expert, then you should call the computer experts because they're going to take that off your plate. They're going to do it better than you would have. And you don't have to worry about it. So that frees your time and energy up to engaging in your daily business. That's what it's all about. Plus, they're going to protect you from cybersecurity threats, protect you from ransomware attacks. 14 successful ransomware attacks happen on a day-to-day basis. If you're a business owner, you need Alpha and Omega in your life. If your annual contract's coming up or if you don't have one, call them and find out how they can assist you in making your business life easier. 615-784-0096. 615-784-0096 or online at ANO.net. That's A&O.net for our friends at Alpha and Omega.
The White House escalating pressure on Iran after reports of hundreds killed in anti-regime protests. This story and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, thank you, Ken Weaver. There's Ken Weaver back in News Closet B.
You're welcome, Brother Murphy.
Ken, you're doing a great job today. Your performance today, my friend, A.
Checks in the mail.
A. Jackson, your performance today, B-.
Hey, better than average.
My performance today, D+. D+.
Oh, now.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. I'm all discombobulated because of this laptop thing.
So what's going on with it?
Yeah, what's it doing?
I want you to talk through it.
Do you? What is it doing now? What it's just randomly. What?
Maybe you got a virus.
Maybe I do. So it asked me, I've gone from 18% battery to 12% battery in like 5 minutes. So it wanted to know if I wanted to upgrade to the new operating system.
Oh, bad move.
Why is that a bad move?
It just always messes things up because they want you to upgrade to a new laptop. How long you had that laptop?
I bought this laptop in 2019.
Oh, yeah. They're wanting you to update.
Well, and now, look, now now I'm at 6%.
Son of a biscuit eater.
What are you doing on that laptop?
I'm not doing anything. I got like 4 windows open. I got my nincompoop in here, and I'm not going to have a nincompoop in 5 minutes because of this stupid laptop. You know who's the nincompoop? I'm the nincompoop. I'm the nincompoop. Jackson, ask me who's the nincompoop.
Who's the nincompoop, Matt?
Matt Murphy. Me.
Well,
who's got 2 thumbs? Nincompoop. This guy.
Now, when did it ask you if you wanted to upgrade?
This morning.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff like that, man. I learned the hard way on stuff like that too, like trying to update the computer. I tried to do that one time 10 minutes before a newscast. Bad mistake.
Well, what this did, right, Ken, it updated and it seemed to be fine and it put all my windows back up where they were. But now when it goes to sleep, when the screen goes blank.
Yes, sir.
It used to be I just touch the little touchpad or hit the return key and it pops right back up.
Pops right back up.
Now it doesn't do that. I have to like bang on it and I have to hit on it and then I have to go over here to the power thing and hit that and it doesn't act like it wants to do anything.
It's just tired. It's having a Monday.
I'm having a Monday, buddy.
It is Monday, that's for sure.
It's a Monday. You know what? If it wasn't bad enough, here comes some sad headlines on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast. Got another traffic update in 5 minutes. Right now in D.C., the White House is escalating pressure on Iran after reports of hundreds killed in anti-regime protests there. President Trump says any nation trading with Iran will pay a 25% tariff on U.S. goods. Officials in Minnesota taking the Department of Homeland Security to court to block the ongoing surge of federal immigration agents into the state, claiming ICE is violating state sovereignty under the 10th Amendment, using excessive force on protesters, making warrantless arrests, and retaliating against Minnesota's elected Democrats. This is the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry.
One thing that I can tell you for certain is that we aren't backing down. We don't retreat in Minneapolis. We don't back down in Minnesota.
In response, a Department of Homeland Security spokesperson says state and local sanctuary policies are the exact reason ICE surged to Minnesota in the first place. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says he's the subject of a Department of Justice criminal probe over what he told Congress about a costly renovation of the Fed's headquarters. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with the latest.
News of the investigation has so angered North Carolina Republican Tom Tillis that he's vowed to block any of the president's nominees to the Fed. That stance has been praised by fellow Senate Republican Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, who says if the Justice Department believes an investigation into the Fed chair is warranted based on cost overruns, then it's Congress that needs to investigate the department.
Meanwhile, on the floor of the U.S. Senate, Arizona Democratic U.S. Senator Mark Kelly angry over the potential cut in pension and reduce in rank over comments troops should ignore illegal orders.
I didn't expect that I would ever find myself here as a U.S. Senator having filed a lawsuit against a Secretary of Defense.
And Metro Police investigating a deadly shooting on I-65. It claimed the life of a Fisk University basketball player, Andrew Bell. The 20-year-old sophomore was driving back to campus last night when shots were fired from a passing dark sedan. Bell's car spun into traffic, collided with a pickup before he was rushed to Vanderbilt in critical condition. He has since passed away. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Eastbound 440 got a crash off on the right shoulder right there before 65. We are complete stop and go eastbound South Loop downtown over to 65. And then once you get past that crash on 440 and you get over to 24, if you want to continue going eastbound on 24, you're coming to complete stops because of sheer volume. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitch, he wants you to make the switch. Why? I made the switch to Dr. Mitch because he's the best. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team, they've now introduced the brand new HydroWave technology, the first and only office in the state of Tennessee to have this new device. What is it? It gives you an opportunity to enjoy spinal stem cell healing. And let me tell you, the newest and greatest healing machine, I'll tell you, Dr. Mitchell believes in this HydroWave technology, and I think you will too. This, along with spinal decompression, is the best thing that you will find. Start the new year by healing you. And right now, you've got a special 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression for the new year. 47% off. Ask about the HydroWave technology to deal with back pain, neck pain, knee pain, hip pain, elbow pain. Wherever it hurts, they can assist. The HydroWave stimulates your very own stem cells in your body to regenerate tissue, to grow new blood vessels for healing through a process called angiogenesis. No one else is doing this in Tennessee. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley, they're getting it done at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Call about this. Ask about the 47% discount when you mention my name, Matt Murphy. Painisbad.com is the website, painisbad.com, or 615-246-5009, 246-5009 for our friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for King and Associates Insurance. Friends, when I decided to buy my home in Mount Pleasant, I went with King and Associates Insurance. Plus, they offered me a very substantial discount when I went with home and auto. And so, man, oh, man, I did that. And they were beating my automobile rates that I had previously already. At King & Associates Insurance, they protect both with coverage that fits your life and your budget, your home and your automobile. I have now put my money where my mouth is. I believe in this company. They are local. They're independent. They work for you. They're not one of these big-time insurance companies. And, oh, by the way, did I mention I saved money on my automobile insurance when I made the switch? Plus, my homeowner's insurance is rock bottom in terms of price, but it's not rock bottom in terms of what it offers me and my family. TKingInsurance.com, TKingInsurance.com. Call Emory or the rest of the team. I worked with Emory, and he was so great to work with. 329-8121 is the number. 329-8121 for a free quote on home and auto today that gives you the peace of mind that I now enjoy. TKingInsurance.com. King & Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most. Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Radio Show. I have many, many, many stories to share with you between now and 7 o'clock, and they're all on my computer, which is broken. But I am undaunted. I am dauntless, as a matter of fact. 38 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to Dave in moments. We'll get to Keith as well. But right now, you know who was the big winner through virtue of the tie that he experienced last week was Kenneth Weaver, who has been the holder of the Wellness Institute of Nashville Nincompoops in the News trophy for the entirety of 2026.
The entire year so far.
You have been the champion. The entire year.
The year of the Weaver.
Weaver is like the Indiana Cubans of Nincompoops in the News. Oh, did I say Indiana Cubans? I'm sorry. Why are not more people, by the way, as I digress, discussing the fact that I understand Signetti's a good coach. I understand that obviously he's done good things over there. But Mark Cuban has spent a gajillion dollars in NIL. They've got 25-year-olds that are playing for them. Yeah. Their average age of that college football team is 23.
Yeah.
The average age of the Green Bay Packers is 25. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Remember whenever you used to graduate college at age 22?
Right. 20. I mean, yeah. And if you were 23, you're an old man in college.
Right.
Now that's their average age.
Yeah.
I think I'm right on this. I think their kicker is 72 years old, Ken. I think that's right. I think that's correct. One way or the other, Mark Cuban sunk a lot of money into that, and I think they're going to get paid off next week, fellas. I think that's happening. One way or the other. Ken Weaver, you are the Indiana Hoosiers of Nincompoops in the News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Which kind of makes Jackson Williams Miami. I don't know. I'm spitballing. It's time for Nincompoops in the News. You guys know how we do it. You know what the news is. You've been listening to Ken Weaver's newscast, and he delivers those twice an hour and when it breaks. You've been listening to my commentary on said same. Now it's time to scour the entire globe. We dig through the stories and find the nincompoops where they live and breathe. We present them on a daily basis. Matt Murphy presents one, Jackson presents one, Ken presents one, and then you get to vote. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. The champion of the week on these Mondays, he gets to go first.
What?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Since when?
That's how that works. Since we got the big trophy and the crown.
You got to think here.
What?
I won on Friday.
I don't know that you did.
Yeah, if we tied, I won on Friday. Because we didn't count Wednesday.
Right.
So it was Monday, Tuesday.
And I haven't won for like 4 months. You would think that I'd get a pity victory at some point. You'd think.
No.
But no.
You can take that Wednesday when you were out.
You know what, Jay Willie? You can go. You can go first, as long as Weaver has no objection.
Weaver, you go ahead.
All right, boys, I will. Hold on, let me adjust the crown on my trophy.
That is a flex. That's a flex. Oh, pardon me. My crown's too heavy right now. Hold on while I pick it up. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, my lobster too buttery. My steak too rich.
All right, you boys ready for a nincompoop out of New Jersey?
Sure.
Oh, here we go. Woman's plan to help her drunk friend backfired in the most ironic way possible, according to New Jersey cops. A single crash resulted in 2 arrests for driving while intoxicated after a drunk passenger later tried to give the driver a ride home from the police station. Officers responded to the crash at around 11:45 p.m. on Wednesday in Washington Township. A 56-year-old Turnersville man was arrested at the scene for driving while intoxicated, and his vehicle was impounded. His blood alcohol concentration was measured at 0.11% above the legal limit of 0.08. An officer gave his passenger, a 47-year-old Cinnamonson woman, a ride home from the scene because she, too, was intoxicated. She was told someone else would need to pick up the driver from police headquarters. Well, about 30 minutes later, here comes the woman driving up to the police station to pick up her friend who was arrested after the crash, and she was told she was too drunk to drive. Her blood alcohol concentration, she was drunker than her buddy. She was twice the legal limit, according to police, and was arrested for driving while intoxicated. Her vehicle was impounded, too.
Wow.
2 arrests, 2 impounds, 0 excuses, police wrote on Facebook.
Huh. Well, play stupid games.
That's right.
Win stupid prizes. Like,
they won't know. I'll just wait for half an hour.
I'm just going to wait. I'm going to go back. I'm going to get her, and then we'll be fine. It'll be okay. Yes. Ossifer, I've not been drinking in the last half hour.
She probably smelled like certs.
Pennies.
Yeah.
Remember when they told you to put pennies in your mouth and you wouldn't get caught?
Yeah, somehow that would, yeah.
I don't think that ever worked. Jackson.
You go ahead, man. I'm going to close it.
All right, which direction you want me to go? You want me to go this way or this way?
That way.
This way?
Yeah.
I want to go this way.
Go that way.
I want to go this I'm going to hold this one because I think it's unfair, because I think I would clearly win. This one on my right hand is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Did you see the Minnesota Timberwolves?
No. I bet I can imagine.
Just go ahead and do that one.
The Minnesota Timberwolves, it's a real quick one, and I'll do the other one too. The Minnesota Timberwolves pierced their noses, or at least had those pretend bull ring piercings, dyed their hair, and wore knit caps at their latest game over the weekend, attempting to honor Renee Good and her wife during the national anthem at last night's basketball game. So they dyed their hair the color of these women, and they wore knit caps like this woman had on, and they had a nose rings in while the national anthem was playing. To which I say, how brave. How brave.
Buddy, I think this is AI.
I don't know. It doesn't look like AI.
Where'd you
think
get
it's
this
AI?
from? Where'd you get this?
From the tweeter. The tweeter machine don't lie, man.
What is it? What is the account?
It's lib or normal. You think it's AI?
Do they have a source attached?
Let me see.
That could be AI.
Could be AI.
So
might
was
not
that,
be.
Remember that old woman I was telling y'all about that was running off with a walker into the woods after she had flipped people off?
Yeah, it might be AI.
Because I'm not seeing anything about this.
Okay, well, yeah, well, I mean, it might be AI. Luckily, that was not my official nincompoop in the news, so I don't get disqualified for it.
That's the way to go, Brother Murphy.
Thank you, Ken. You see, that's why I didn't do the right hand. That's why I listened to you, and you told me to do the left hand, and so left hand is official. Find out if it's AI or not.
It is.
Official?
It's not real. Or it may not be AI, or the picture is probably AI. But the account, I think you got.
Maybe I did. Every once in a while it happens. I try not to get got, but every once in a while I got.
Sometimes you get got, dude.
Well, this one's real. A public proposal at a concert over the weekend in Australia has gone horribly wrong. This is never a good idea, men, unless you have discussed the proposal in depth with your soon-to-be significant other or your significant other. Don't do this. Over the weekend, the Australian duo band Bootleg Rascal. I've never heard a song from Bootleg Rascal, but they seem like my type of band.
Yes, sir.
They kicked off their Reasons tour in Brisbane, Australia. However, celebrations took a turn for the worse when plans for a romantic moment went awry. In a video shared by the band on social media, they captioned, PDA gone wrong. A man can be seen standing on stage. He was obviously brought up on stage and given a microphone, and he addresses the crowd. He says, my partner and I came to watch Bootleg Rascal 3 years ago. The man then calls out, Jamie, where are you? Can you come up on stage quickly? Well, Jamie does. As the crowd cheered and clapped, a woman appeared from the crowd, and she also stepped up on stage. Speaking to the woman, the man then told her, we saw Bootleg Rascal about 2-3 years ago, and I thought, they're our favorite band. And I thought, today, why not? Maybe today is the time. And then he got down on one knee, boys. However, it got pretty much the reaction that I just got from Jackson and Ken, as the woman said nothing. The reaction that he was hoping for did not occur. She started shaking her head. She grabbed his hands, tried to pull him off of his knee. As the crowd roared, the man could be heard repeating, what? No, before she ran off stage. Then, faced with the ultimate rejection in front of others, he stayed kneeling on stage.
Oh, no.
But it gets better. He didn't know what to do. Well, a person dressed in a Scooby-Doo costume, and I'm not making this part up, ran up on stage and helped the man get to his feet. As the Scooby-Doo was hugging him in a sign of a show of support and a sign of remorse, the clip cut off. The video then reading, anyway, there's our breakup song. Captions on the post. First show off to a great start. Not sure we're helping out another public proposal for a while. Then many others commented on it. That's rough. Poor fella. Anybody know if he's okay? I don't think I've ever felt this awkward watching a stage presentation in my life. It's never a good idea to publicly propose unless you are certain.
Absolutely, dude.
Certain that the answer is going to be yes. No word on whether or not the couple is still together.
This reminds me of a TV show. Have you guys ever seen Only Murders in the Building?
Yes.
On Hulu?
I have.
Do you know, I want to say it's season 2, when Steve Martin's family leaves him.
Uh-huh.
And they're on that Disney cruise. And it's a very similar situation where he's at the character breakfast. And that haunts him. I think it's Mickey Mouse. But he sees this guy in the suit, or it's Goofy, or but
Why
you know what
can't-
I'm
I've
talking
seen
about?
it.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Why can't I remember this?
I can't remember what character it is, but I remember he sees it in his, he has flashbacks to it. And that's just what my mind went to.
Huh. Was it Steve Martin or Martin Short?
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin? Okay. All right. Well, there's my nincompoop. The fella that asked the girl to mount. I feel bad for him, but he's a nincompoop. I mean, he's just you don't do it. If there's any chance the answer is no, you don't do it. And I guarantee you alcohol was involved. Yes, Jackson, go.
All right. Woman arrested for stealing Stanley Cup from coworker to store her breast milk.
Like the Stanley Cup?
No,
a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, like the ones with the handles.
At first, I thought you meant the Stanley Cup.
No.
That's a lot of milk.
That
is a lot of milk. These things are big.
My goodness.
Before stealing a used Stanley Cup from a female coworker, an accused thief remarked that the insulated tumbler would be great to hold my breast milk, investigators allege. Cops yesterday arrested Ariana Moss, 29 years old, on a misdemeanor charge in connection with a December 29th theft at a recreation complex in Largo, Florida. According to an arrest report, Moss was observed on video surveillance looking at the cup numerous times before taking possession of the victim's 40-ounce light blue Stanley Cup and concealing it in her lunchbox before exiting the Highland Recreation Center. Cops say, saw the 22-year-old victim frequently drinking that day from the $60 Stanley Cup during multiple interactions with the victim. At one point, a witness/employee told police Moss had pointed to the cup sitting on an office cabinet and remarked, "This cup would be great to hold my breast milk." Pictured above is Moss, who worked as a supervisor. She quit her job 3 days after the incident and has not been heard from since. Moss was arrested Sunday and booked into the county jail, from which she was released last night after her husband posted the $150 bond.
What was her first name?
Ariana.
Areola? Oh, Ariana. I'm sorry. I thought I heard it wrong.
Yeah, what are you doing? Just
What?
get your own container.
Well, I mean,
and so she stole it from a coworker and then took it to work.
No, she took it home. She hid it in her lunchbox to take home.
wait, but
Okay.
at what point did the woman drink from it?
She was drinking throughout the day.
And then she stole it later?
Yes.
So there was no breast milk in it.
No, she never put any.
Oh, that's why she said, "Oh, that looks
That
like
was
it
her
could hold
master
some."
plan. That looks like it could hold some
So
breast milk.
this was a premeditated.
Yeah, premeditated theft of a Stanley Cup. Also, why do you want to take like? I understand if you're in like a emergency situation, kind of a any port in a storm kind of thing.
I mean, don't you have to? I'm not trying to be graphic here, but
Me neither, but it's hard.
If you're lactating,
Yes.
don't you have to at some point, or
Yeah,
or
and
it's
so like
painful?
if you
Yes.
had to,
Yes.
but you just wanted it to take home and
Yeah, you just. Well, that looks like a nice container. I'm just going to steal that.
Was the alleged thief the supervisor?
yes, she was a supervisor
Where'd they work? Does it say?
at a recreation center.
Interesting.
There's a lot of jokes to be made. One of
There's
them,
so many.
one of them involves the word jug, but I'm not going to do that. I mean,
I know what you're saying, Brother Murphy.
thank you, Ken. I think we should just play the music and get out of here before I get into trouble. You can vote for me, although I doubt you will.
Just keep voting for Brother Ken Weaver.
My
That
story
way
was
we
better
don't-
than Ken's.
That way we don't have to move this delicate trophy from the anchor booth.
I'm never going to win Nincompoops in the news again. I'm never going to sniff that trophy again. Never. Although the cup on top of that trophy could hold.
That could hold a lot of breast milk.
It could hold a large amount of breast milk. So you better watch yourself there, Weaver. Might find a lactating woman in your presence. It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Have you restocked the spices that you used over the holiday season at Savory Spice as of yet? If not, why not? Friends, it's time to get it done. Holly and David want to see you at Savory Spice this new year for restocking purposes. And just because the spices are far superior than the big box stores, just because they have more exotic spices than all of those big box stores combined, just because they are personal, in other words, they understand what they're doing and they understand what you need. And so if you find something that you want and they don't have it in stock, they can find it, they can get it for you. They have more seasonings, they have more blends, they have personalized blends. When we talk about rubs for that pork chop or that cut of meat, they've got it at Savory Spice as well. They can help you on a personal level. They can find the product that you're looking for, but odds are they already have it in the store. You'll smell it before you see it, the delicious aroma of spices coming out of the door of Savory Spice. They're located right off the square in Franklin next to Gray's Pharmacy. Go by and see them today. Tell them that Matt Murphy sent you. And remember, you up your food game by upping your spice game. And you up your spice game at the one and only Savory Spice.
6 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. President Trump's hitting Iran with a global trade penalty over its violent response to nationwide protests. Countries that continue business with Tehran will face a 25% tariff on trade with America, according to President Trump. Officials in Minnesota taking ICE to court, claiming the immigration enforcement agencies committed a slew of constitutional and legal violations. This is Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
There is no doubt in my mind the kind of action that the federal government is taking is not just mean-spirited. It's unconstitutional, and every one of us need to be standing up.
Well, Minnesota's lawsuit alleges ICE is violating state sovereignty under the 10th Amendment and retaliating against Minnesota's elected Democrats. In response, a Department of Homeland Security spokesperson says state and local sanctuary policies are the exact reason ICE surged to Minnesota in the first place. And on the U.S. Senate floor today, Arizona Democrat Mark Kelly announced his lawsuit against Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, claiming Hegseth's actions to demote and financially penalize him following a video urging troops to refuse illegal orders are punitive, politically motivated, and unconstitutional.
I will not stand for it because our freedom of speech, the separation of powers, and due process are not just words on a page. They are core principles of our democracy.
So the lawsuit aims to protect his rights as both a retired service member and a sitting senator. The Justice Department's opening an investigation into Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, the criminal investigation related to testimony Powell gave to the Senate Banking Committee over renovations to 2 office buildings in Washington. But Powell, as well as a bipartisan group of lawmakers, have said that the Department of Justice investigation undermines the independence the Fed should have in making economic decisions. Powell responded to the investigation, saying that politics should not influence any member of the Fed. Republicans, like Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina, say they will not approve any member of the Fed until the legal issues are resolved. ABC's Devin Dwyer also says the U.S. Supreme Court could weigh in soon.
No president has ever tried to remove a member of the Fed, although federal law that has created the central bank says a president can remove a member of the Fed for cause. It doesn't define what that is. And coincidentally, next week, the Supreme Court is going to wade into that question and take a look at whether President Trump lawfully fired another member of the Federal Reserve, Democratic appointee Lisa Cook.
And here in Nashville, a Fisk University student athlete was killed in last night's shooting on I-65 near I-40. Police say 20-year-old Andre Bell was hit by gunfire while driving his white Nissan Sentra back to campus. The suspect's vehicle, described as a dark sedan, sped away and may have windshield damage. Keep an eye out for that. Dark sedan with windshield damage. Crime Stoppers offering a reward for tips. Just contact them. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've got crashes on I-65. One is on the right shoulder, northbound right there at the South Loop. The other one is southbound there at Wedgwood Avenue. Crashes on I-40. One is blocking the right lane just past Donaldson Pike. That's over by the airport. The other one on I-40, that's westbound in West Nashville. It's right there at exit 205. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right, here we go. Final hour of the Matt Murphy Show. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Pleased you've decided to join us today, whether you're on the radio, 99.7 FM, listening there, perhaps on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart. Maybe you're on our own app, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Take us wherever you want to go. Or you're on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. We thank you for your participation. Give us a shout in the old super chat or the super text line or the chat on the YouTube channel. Or you can also give us a call at 615-737-9986. Hey, I pulled up the story that I was originally going to use for Nincompoops. I had to shift into a different year. You want me to share it with you? I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. I'll find a new one for tomorrow. You want it?
Yeah, I mean,
it was a local one. Police in Portland, Tennessee, Friday announced an arrest of a recently naturalized United States citizen. This is from the Tennessee Star, by the way. Naturalized citizen into the United States of America, currently living in Nashville, who allegedly slashed tires and poured, quote, human excrement, end quote, at a residential property last month. Poured.
Goodness.
The Portland Police Department announced a January 7th arrest in a Friday post to social media, revealing the original vandalism incident was reported December 16th, with the department writing that the complainant originally told authorities someone had poured.
Did they use a Stanley Cup?
What appeared to be human excrement onto the front porch of a residence and then stabbed all four tires of the complainant's vehicle. My goodness. Following weeks of investigation, the Portland police announced the arrest of, hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to need you on this one.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
You got a pen over there?
Stand by.
All right. Here we go.
All right, go ahead.
NWANEWERE. Victor. I got that one. ETUMUDON.
Waneri Victor Etumudonye.
Man, you're good.
That's why he does the news.
That is why they don't call him the best in the business, just because of his good looks and his long beard, folks. That's good. Anyway, great googly moogly of Nashville. That's what I say when I can't pronounce people's names.
Mr. Victor.
Yes, Mr. Victor, who poured some human excrement, the department described as a suspect. They also confirmed that he had, quote, just become a citizen of the United States of America last year. Victor, great googly moogly, was charged with one count of vandalism of over $1,000, one count of aggravated criminal trespass. The Portland police reported his next court appearance will occur in Sumner County General Sessions Court, January 26th. The reference to Great Googly Moogly citizenship status comes amongst Donald Trump's reported effort to increase the number of denaturalization cases. So there's not really an explanation in the article that I'm reading from the Tennessee Star as to why the individual felt the need to pour, underline pour.
How'd they know it was human?
I'm assuming they tested it, Jackson. I don't know. I mean, I don't know of okay, I'm not going to say that. I can only presume that they've offered a test. I guess pouring it out of some sort of container is
That's a stomach issue. You need to get checked out.
You probably do. You might want to. I mean, maybe he's not used to this food that
That's
we got
a tummy
around here.
ache.
Yeah. I can think of a couple of restaurants that he might have eaten at in White House and Gallatin that might have,
churned it up a little
some
bit.
Some of that spicy food will tear your stomach up. And you got to do what you got to do. You got a Stanley Cup, you deal with that, and then you got to get rid of that because the breast milk's coming in later. So
Also, how do you transfer? Are you going in the Stanley Cup?
Let me tell you something. If you utilize your own and you transport it, that you're mad.
You are.
This is
angry.
This is not a rando. I'm just gonna pour this on some randos. You have past history with this person, and you are not very happy with them.
I want to know what they did.
I do too, but the story does not tell. But maybe we'll find out in the next several days. Let's talk to Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Matt. Can you hear me?
I cannot, Dave.
Oh, gosh.
You see what I did there? If I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No, I still can't hear you.
Come on, man.
All right, try it one more time. All right, Dave, try it one more time.
Can you hear me?
I can't, Dave. I can't hear you, Dave. No, I'm just kidding. I can hear you. I've always loved that question. Can you hear me? And people can say, yeah.
Okay, all right, good deal.
Because if I couldn't hear
thank you for...
Yeah. Get it.
All right. Well, thank you for taking my call.
Of course. Of course.
I felt pretty compelled to call after listening to your opening monologue.
All right.
And I will do the best I can to be efficient with your time because I know there are other people that would like to speak with you. But in any case, I'm 64 years old, and I had either the good fortune or the misfortune to grow up in the 60s and 70s in San Francisco, California. By the time I entered college, I had a pretty good feel for the direction the Democrat Party, which was the party of my blue-collar family, it was their party of choice. And, just the way things were changing so quickly, so rapidly, even among my peers, we were concerned at that time. That being said, what you expressed today in your monologue, I was able to relate to the seriousness and the gravity of what you were talking about. These are very serious times. And that being said, I would like to offer to you and your listeners 3 works that I think really need to be read to understand a lot of what's behind what we're dealing with right now. These are not controversial works. They're not anything that would cause someone to be labeled any kind of a phobe or ist or anything like that. But I'll like I said, I'll be as efficient as I can. The first is a book called Rules for Radicals. You are probably familiar with it given your background and your understanding. But I'd like your listeners to know that this is a very significant work written by a man named Saul Alinsky. He was a professor at the University of Illinois at Chicago in the 1960s, and it became the handbook of the countercultural movement of that time during the Vietnam War. You can cut me off at any point you like if you want to stop me and ask me about these things. But nevertheless, there is a quote from the book that has been attributed all too often by many in your profession and other, people who engage in commentary that Rahm Emanuel has cited, and it is not Rahm Emanuel. And the quote is this:
"Never let it cross this
never."
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, good. It might interest you to know, or it might interest your listeners to know, that during that time, Professor Alinsky had a follower, a very dedicated, probably an acolyte, who actually wrote their graduating thesis at the University of Illinois at Chicago about this man. That individual is none other than Hillary Rodham. And the book is dedicated to who Saul Alinsky felt was the first radical, and that would be Lucifer. I'd also like to present that Michelle Obama made a quote during the Democratic convention when her husband was nominated for president, that she referenced the world as it is and the world as it should be. That is a direct line from that book. Now, if you want to elaborate further, feel free, or I'll go on to my second suggestion.
Let's do number 2.
Okay, number 2. It's a book called The True Believer, and it's by a man named Eric Hoffer. And I'm not going to go into his background. I think it's very interesting in and of itself. But this book was published in 1951, and as a result, he became something of a celebrity. He would appear on the Dick Cavett Show and some of the more notable talk shows of the time. And what this book is, it's a relatively small paperback. I'm not offering your listeners anything that is a long, thick, bunch of printed paper. These are brief works. And it gives you a lot of insight into what motivates people to identify with certain causes, as illogical as they may be. But nevertheless, we all have an innate need to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And he illustrates through his observations how individuals are drawn to these causes and adopt these perspectives regardless of their rationale.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, I'll elaborate further. If not, I'll move on to number 3.
I've never read I've heard of The True Believer, but I've never read The True Believer. But
I
need to pick
would
it up.
highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It is very insightful, because what we're dealing with in these times is warped psychology. I think you'll agree with that.
It was written on the heels of Nazism. Interesting.
No, actually, he was a longshoreman during World War II because he couldn't qualify for the draft. And he made these observations on his lunch break while working with his fellow longshoremen.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I'm just observing that it was written in 1951, and if it's about the psychology behind mass movements, it probably has.
He was not an educated man. He had. Let me just. I'll keep it as brief as I can, but. He was left viewed as disabled because of an accident when he was a child falling down a staircase. And he really was not a political guy. He was just kind of an amateur observer of sorts. But he had a very keen insight into, what motivates people. And in any case, I don't want to go off on a tangent, and I don't want to waste your time.
Pop me number 3. What's number 3?
Okay, number 3, and this is the one that I caution people about. It is called The Fate of Empires and the Struggle for Survival. It is an essay by a man named Sir John Glubb. He wrote it in either 1977 or 1978. And what he does is, he was a historian. He was a British guy. And he wrote an essay about the commonalities of the collapse of the great empires in human history. And it's an outstanding work. It's really something that I recommend to people that they read 2 or 3 times, because you get more out of it each time you read it. It's not real lengthy, but it's quite informative, and it's very well researched. And I would encourage people to read it, if for no other reason than to see the common effect among the decline of great empires as regards unchecked immigration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
I like it.
In any case, I'm sorry?
No, I said I like it.
Well, thank you.
I like it.
Yeah, and I'll leave it there unless you have any questions for me. Like I said, I've got a little bit of an interesting life experience. We're all products of time and space. And I'd also like to tell your listeners, because we're primarily a Tennessee audience, that the good news is we find ourselves in probably the best place in this country to be right now. The traditional values are still held in esteem.
Agree.
And the South is probably the last bastion of traditional America, and that's why you find
when I find myself in a bad way, Dave, because I have a propensity to gravitate to pessimism. And I recognize that about myself. But when I find myself in a bad way, I recognize that if if the proverbial poop hits the proverbial fan.
I love it.
We are, we are going to find ourselves along dividing lines. Sadly, fairly similar to the last time this nation saw the proverbial poop hit the proverbial fan in terms of the potential for national breakup. Because people of a like mind are gravitating to more freedom-centric locations, and that happens to be in the Southeast primarily, Texas to, not so much North Carolina, but certainly South Carolina. Georgia has Atlanta, which is a problem for Georgia, but Florida and kind of all those points in between. Kentucky has its pockets and moments, but no, these are great book suggestions. Keep calling us back, and we'll continue to have the discussion, Dave. I've enjoyed it very much. I got to take a short time out now, but The Fate of Empires, The True Believer, and Rules for Radicals. I like it. I like it a lot. We'll get to Keith in a moment. Keith, hang in there. Would love for you to have patience as we get to a break, and we'll come back to you in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Cover Nash is the one-stop shop for all things health insurance that I would recommend. Friend Shane Ring wants to help you, and there are still opportunities and openings. I mean, the time is right now, though. If you're looking for open enrollment opportunities, if you're looking for help during open enrollment, you need to call Shane Ring right now at Cover Nash over the next couple of days, certainly. If you're self-employed, uninsured, or just tired of paying too much, Obamacare is at it again, folks, and we need to handle this. Premiums are up in 2026, and they're going to go up even further. Sadly, deductibles are matching those premiums. You do not have to play by these rules. You can keep your costs lower than they currently are by calling Shane Ring and Cover Nash. He has his fingertips on about he said, I think, 75 different health insurance plans that are available to you, and he'll find the right one for you. He doesn't work for the insurance companies. He works for you. You are his customer. 615-465-0023, 465-0023 for our friends at Cover Nash or online at CoverNash.com. That's CoverNash.com. We're also celebrating the 42nd anniversary of something today. I will play it for you coming up in just a couple of minutes. It is a dated reference that will be lost on young Jackson Williams. Y2J will not know anything about this.
You know, it was 16 years ago today?
2010, January 2010. No.
16 years ago today, Lane Kiffin leaves the Tennessee Vols and heads to USC.
16 years ago?
16 years ago today.
Wow.
The famed press conference, the famed...
Did you tell me during a break that LSU just offered $7.5 million for a college quarterback?
7 is what I've seen online.
We've got to do something. College football is about to be broken.
Apparently, Tennessee drove up the offer quite a bit.
Well, I mean, it does not change the fact that would you not agree that college football is about to be broken?
Yeah, it's not going great.
I mean, all of this has gone down in what, 5 years? 4 years? How long has NIL been around? 4 years, 5 years?
4 years, I'm going to say. Because it wasn't a huge thing when I was in college and I got out in 22.
No, man, this is not good. When you're already offering college quarterbacks 7.5, and I heard that there was an offer for Ty Simpson. I think Tennessee offered Ty 4, didn't they?
Respectable.
And well, too much in my opinion, and someone else offered him 6.5?
Yes, LSU had him as their backup plan.
I mean, y'all. I mean, I don't know. I just and viewership's down. Did you see the numbers? Ole Miss and Miami.
No, I watched that game, and if you missed out, you missed a great game.
Well, I mean, it's a good game, but it was 15 million people watched it. More people watched.
Not enough.
No, it's not enough. 15 million. You had NFL playoffs where they reached a peak of like 35 million in some of those games.
Some of those games were great.
Well, those were man, it was good. If you are a football fan at all, you had a good time this weekend. Keith is next up. Keith, I'm sorry for your long hold. Thank you for calling. How are you?
I appreciate it. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great, Keith. Thank you.
I'm doing good myself. My main question, I don't want to keep you too long, not as long as you kept me, but it's all good. Why aren't we charging these people who are telling everybody to go against the laws with treason, first off? And second off, how come this propaganda and these lies that the news and everything keeps spreading, how come that's allowed?
Well, you're allowed. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be flip when I answer it this way, Keith, because I think it's an earnest question it's an earnest question that deserves an earnest answer. In the United States of America, we value free speech so much that you're allowed to lie.
No, I get that, but I understand the free speech. I get that, but I heard at some point something about Obama allowed the news reporters to do something with propaganda and all that. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not trying to put a whole lot of stake into that, but I just don't understand if these people have such power, why is it okay to lie about facts?
Well, I mean, no, it's an earnest. I mean, no, it's a good question. I mean, I get it. It's frustrating. For me, it's more frustrating that so many people believe the liars and the lies that they tell. As far as the treason piece goes, as far as the treason piece goes, screaming and yelling about disobeying laws, I mean, it's wrong, but it's not treason. I mean, treason is betraying one's country specifically by levying war against your country, right? By aiding and abetting the enemy of one's country, by giving comfort to the enemy of one's country. That's how the United States Constitution defines treason. So,
no, I get that, but it seems like they're pushing the envelope pretty close to that line.
They
on a lot
are.
of these things.
Well, they are. They do it for sport.
Yeah, I know. It's just ridiculous. At this point, I want Jesus to come back. I'm ready for him because I'm tired of all this evilness in the world, my friend. It just drives me insane.
You know, I hit low points, Keith, where I do not disagree with you because I'm fearful that the best days of the United States of America are behind us. I'm going to choose to believe that there are enough good people in America that we are going to see better days, that this too shall pass. I try to remind myself that, common sense, rule of law minded Americans must have felt similarly at some points in our past, late 1960s, early 19th. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But
and I stay optimistic. I do dabble my toes in a little bit of pessimistic sometimes, but for the most part, I'm a pretty optimistic guy, and I feel like things are going to work out in the long run. But man, it just don't seem like it's coming around, and it seems like our party or our side, whatever you want to call it, the side of good and right and common sense just don't seem like they're doing enough to combat against all this lunacy that's happening in the world these days.
Well, I opened the show with the monologue, and it kind of references exactly what you're referring to, Keith. The fact that, and thank you so much for the call. I appreciate you. I've got to run to the news, and I'm sorry for making you wait as long as I did. Please call back. The amount of people that are willing to ignore basic facts, the amount of people that are willing to create their own narratives and roll with it, despite what common sense and obvious information available to everyone dictates, is fascinating. It's amazing. And it's not just randos on social media. It's elected officials. They walk right up to the line. They do. But they understand where that line is, and they use the American system and our belief in freedom and basic liberty against us in so many different ways. And they allow useful idiots to act on what they say to do their dirty work. And it's wrong. It's 33 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, folks. Matt Murphy for Better Water. Folks, you need to drink pure, clean water. And if you're just drinking it out of the tap, might I recommend that you might be doing it wrong? I'm just saying you might be doing it wrong. Better Water is now celebrating 55 years of service as a two-generation family business in Middle Tennessee. And residential and commercial customers, industrial customers, they have benefited as a result. They were founded in March of 1971. We are blessed to have them in the state of Tennessee. The average tenure of service to our employees or for our employees is over 17 years. That means that not only is Better Water a wonderful company, they are wonderful to work for, and they're wonderful to work with. Friends, whether it's a scalable under the sink or whole house application, Better Water is like a big Brita filter for your home. You need this in your home and your place of business. They can remove sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli, everything from your water. So I'm about to give you a telephone number. When I do, call this telephone number, and when you do, obviously you're going to want to talk about water softeners or specialized filters or UV lights or you name it. They're based right in Smyrna. But do me a favor and congratulate them on 55 years of service to their community, and tell them that I'm getting them to Mount Pleasant because they're putting a whole water system or a whole home system in my home to treat my water as well. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Better Water. 615-355-6063, 355-6063, or betterwater.com. You know, a lot of people are reacting to my comment about college football and the fact that college football is potentially broken. Many of you saying potentially. And then I said, well, it's about to be broken. And many of you are saying about to be. You know, one problem with the college football playoffs, why can't they just do it on Saturday? Why can't college football own Saturday? Regular season games are played when? Saturday. On Saturday. Stop taking a break for the playoffs. Play straight through. The layoffs aren't working. I mean, as evidenced by the number of teams that got the byes losing. I want to say Indiana. Wasn't Indiana the only one that won?
Maybe.
In the 2 years that it's been going on?
Maybe. Not sure.
I mean, Georgia lost both their games after getting
Notre
a bye.
Dame got a bye, didn't they?
And,
no, because they weren't a conference champion.
No, they didn't get a bye. I think last year, I didn't get a buy. One way or the other, it's kind of broke, but there you go. I found another story that I was going to potentially use for nincompoops in the news. This, when my computer came back up and running, and now it's got 8% life. It had 4% life, but I guess we're gaining life here. A woman was arrested for allegedly attempting to burn several things outside of a Nashville restaurant, including part of a vigil for a woman who was killed in a hit-and-run accident on New Year's Eve. The vigil was held Saturday for a 23-year-old who went by the name Smooth Sexton. Her name was Afri Seegers. She performed in drag. According to the affidavit, Saturday, Jan 10, witnesses said the woman, 41-year-old Christy Parks, was pacing in the parking lot trying to set multiple things on fire, and she eventually landed on the vigil. They had like a makeshift memoriam for this lady. Parks reportedly ripped down multiple signs in front of the restaurants and threw them across the parking lot, obviously on some form of drugs. One witness also reported she tried to light a helium balloon on fire that was tied up to a utility pole as a part of the vigil. The affidavit said camera footage showed Parks walking up to the front door, grabbing a large traffic cone and using it like a battering ram. I like to use those traffic cones like a big megaphone. That's where I do them. Officers asked why she was at the location. She told officers she was trying to break into the restaurant and beat up the people inside. So
at least she's honest.
Well, yeah, at least she's clear about it, and we're appreciative. We're appreciative of that. In the meantime, on a more serious note, the Metro Nashville police are investigating an unidentified man. Have you seen this camera footage of this dude that was captured at the Covenant School? Very scary. Obviously, the Covenant Presbyterian Church and the school associated with Covenant, they have seen their share of tragedy over the last several years. On Friday, the Metro Nashville police released 4 photos of a suspect who was seen on surveillance video wearing a hooded sweatshirt and carrying a video camera, allegedly trespassing on the church and school's property in the 1 o'clock hour earlier that day. And police are now looking for this man, and it's led to the Covenant School to cancel classes. The suspect appeared to take photos and videos of the campus as well as selfies in front of the building before walking away into a wooded area. Metro Nashville police said the suspect's presence at Covenant Friday was the second time an individual has been caught on surveillance videos trespassing on the campus, the first occurring shortly after midnight, Friday, December 26th. During the December incident, the individual caught on surveillance footage was carrying a camera, entered the church building through an unsecured door, proceeded to walk through the church until tripping an alarm and immediately fleeing once the alarm sounded. Nashville police said it believes both occurrences involve the same individual and is asking the public for help in identifying that person. Anyone with any identifying information, I'm going to put this up on my X machine, and you can contact Crime Stoppers at 615-742-7463, 742-7463. I think they're offering a cash reward for information. The incident comes, obviously, some 3 years after Covenant School was the site of an awful and deadly shooting, killing 6. There is no known association or connection with that event and the individual on the campus, but the fact that this person is walking around with a video camera getting surveillance footage has, clearly cause for concern, especially at Covenant School, where, like I say, they've seen their share of tragedy over the last several years. In the meantime, hey, Jackson, it is, did you know that this week is National Pizza Week?
No, I did not.
Your favorite chain pizza?
I'm a Papa John's man.
Oh, yeah. I like Papa John's a lot.
I think it's the best.
I like Papa John's a lot.
Domino's is good, too. Ever had Marco's?
Marco's is really good. I would put Marco's above. I might put Marco's above Papa John's.
I love Papa John's. It's just when I think of like chain pizza, it's that really sweet sauce and it's good.
Well, pizza obviously has a rich history in the United States of America. It's National Pizza Week, January 12th through January 17th. And several pizza restaurants are offering some pretty significant specials as a result of it being National Pizza Week. get in 2025, just a WAG. You know what a WAG is, Jackson?
No.
Wild ass guess.
Okay.
Give me a WAG on the estimated total amount that consumers spent in the United States of America on pizza in 2025.
15 billion.
That's a great guess. It's a great guess. Be better if you doubled it.
30.
$30.9 billion on pizza in 2025. Pizza chain sales have remained essentially flat the last couple of years, have trailed well behind the rate of restaurant price inflation, according to USA Today. Some pizza places are offering specials over National Pizza Week that might save you some dough. Huh? Including, I won't get into the specials, but there are several. Domino's has one. Pizza Hut has one. I remember going to Pizza Hut being when I was a kid, Jackson, back in the olden times in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
The going to Pizza Hut was a big deal.
Did you bring your when you read all the books?
What?
They did like a book program or grade program or something.
No, we never did that, but we had one down the street from us, and I mean they had those stained glass lighting fixtures over the tables, and they had the big red Coca-Cola cups that you get free refills, and they had the. Have you ever seen the tabletop Pac-Man game? First time I ever saw a tabletop. So it's a Pac-Man like Pac-Man,
mm-hmm.
but it's a tabletop Pac-Man game. So you set your soda on it.
Were you any good at Pac-Man?
I was very good at Ms. Pac-Man. I mean, I wasn't the best in the biz, but
what's the difference between Ms. Pac-Man and Pac-Man?
Well, Pac-Man was the original game. Ms. Pac-Man, she had a little bow, and
that was it.
Ms. Pac-Man was the better version of Pac-Man. Pac-Man was pretty basic. Ms. Pac-Man advanced the technology to the point that it was much, much better. And I was pretty good. I wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. 49 after the hour. All right, we'll wrap up some of the stories that we need to let you know before we say goodbye. And we'll say goodbye and hand off to Mark Levin. That's coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. I recognized a small heating issue that I have in the new home. Now, we're not in the new home yet. We're getting some painting done and doing some other projects before we move in. However, when I noticed this heating issue, the first person that I called was Jeff Eddy at Efficient Heating and Cooling. He answered Jiffy quick, and we've got Roger coming out to my place tomorrow to see if we can identify what's going on. That's the type of service that you get from the service-oriented company that is Efficient Heating and Cooling. Friends, the best way to head off any costly repair, and I know it, I say it every day, and now I am putting, as I say, my money where my mouth is. I'm asking Jeff Eddy to come on and head off those costly repairs, and hopefully we can do so. I don't need a breakdown in the new home, and I certainly don't want early replacement of that system. That is why I'm calling the best. I'm calling Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. So I welcome Roger to my house tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get everything handled, and I know that I've called the right people with Efficient Heating and Cooling. By the way, if it's time, they'll tell you it's time. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can help you find the right unit for you. Efficient also offers financing on your next unit if you need. Efficient Heating and Cooling can be found online at efficienthvac.net, efficienthvac.net, or give them a call at 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for Efficient Heating and Cooling. It was once said, do all the good you can by all the means you can in all the ways you can in all the places you can at all the times you can to all the people you can for as long as you can. Whew. That's tough to say, but Aaron Stokes believes in that quote. He believes in doing that and has done so for now over a quarter a century. Friends, it's Matt Murphy for Eurofix. Eurofix repairs European vehicles at below dealer pricing. What sets them apart isn't just price. It is a deep commitment to quality that keeps you off the tow truck. They have clean, inviting, welcoming shops where you can actually sit down, a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection so they know exactly what's going on with your vehicle so you can make an informed decision. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repair work performed, plus rental cars available at every appointment. I drove by the Franklin location just earlier today, and it looks good. They're hopping, but never too busy for you. Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and Mount Juliet. Call 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. Believe it or not, we have individuals that want your, dare I say, learned opinion, Jackson, on the football game tonight. Last of the opening round of playoffs from the NFL. What a great batch of games we had over the weekend. I mean, I guess what was the last one last night?
Chargers, Patriots.
Yeah, that did not. That did not end well for the Chargers, but other than that, one-score games all, right?
Yeah, good games too.
Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl, Jackson?
I got the Bills.
The Bills?
The Bills.
Okie dokie.
Tonight,
Alrighty.
Texans beat the Steelers by more than a touchdown.
Are they in Houston?
No, they're in Pittsburgh.
How the hell did that happen?
Pittsburgh won their division, and they didn't.
There you go. I'm going to go ahead and say that for some reason I think Aaron Rodgers has a little magic in that old gray beard he found, and he'll pull out a victory, and then he'll lose next week. But whatever, because the winner of that game plays the Patriots.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken, and either of those teams are going to get their brains beaten in by the Patriots.
Yes.
How about that Mike Vrabel?
He's a good coach. Imagine having him and firing him.
What moron team, what moron sports organization would have a coach like Mike Vrabel, who very likely could win Coach of the Year this year? I mean, what is it between Vrabel, the Jags coach?
I think Shanahan from 49ers wins it.
You think?
Yeah, because his team is held up. They're going to the divisional round of the playoffs, and they're held up by duct tape and pixie dust and prayer.
I don't know. The Broncos coach has done a really good job too. What's his
Sean Payton?
Sean Payton.
It's a tight race this year. Vrabel's already won it once with a team I can't remember. They fired him because they were tired of winning.
Yeah, something, I don't know. He won a lot, but he was wanted to exercise his industry knowledge in a fashion that got lips pooched out. I forget where that was, but gosh. This ad, do you still have me up or have you closed me out yet?
You're up.
You're up. This ad happened 42 years ago today, and
It certainly is a big bun. It's a very big bun. Big, fluffy bun. It's a very big, fluffy bun. Where's the beef?
Some hamburger places give you a lot less beef on a lot of bun.
Where's the beef?
At Wendy's, we serve a hamburger we modestly call a single. And Wendy's single has more beef than the Whopper or Big Mac. At Wendy's, you get more beef and less bun.
Hey, where's the beef? I don't think there's anybody back there.
You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
All right, Jackson, that seems like just a standard, innocuous,
I've seen that.
Nothing special commercial. Do you understand what an absolute phenomenon that thing became?
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? It launched a series of commercials starring, and that lady, I cannot remember her name, the Where's the Beef lady. She became a national phenomenon. She was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. She was on all of the late night shows, all the early morning shows. It actually appeared in a debate between Walter Mondale and Ronald Reagan later on in 1984 when, where's the beef, Mondale said, and it kind of fell flat. 42 years ago today, that ad premiered on television. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for being with us. Chin up, everybody. I mean, I struggle on occasion to remain optimistic about the future of this nation, but then I think of you. I think of all of the good people across the state of Tennessee and all of the great people across this fine United States of America, and I'm reminded that, yes, in fact, our best days are ahead of us. For Jackson Williams, for Ken Weaver, I'm Matt Murphy, speaking and saying, have a great evening, folks. Hug your loved ones. We'll talk to you tomorrow. So long, everybody.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.